motherfucker. You're not severed. You walk out of here with your memories. You carry them home with you every night. No one can rip them away from you, snuff them out, like they never existed. Like you never existed! That's enough! Turn them back!
God damn it, stop doing!
Yes! Do it, Seth!
Fathead Muppet.
That's brilliant.
Oh, yes. We could feed him a pile of loose corn.
Real Enigmas and Theories is back again with another live wellness session. And we have a special guest today. I know everybody knows it's going to be Miscellaneous Gab joining me today. And we're going to talk about some things, you know, here and there, maybe about first season, second season, and what the possibilities are for the third season. You know, we're going to get in there. We're going to cook. And I know Miscellaneous Gab likes to go deep into some of these theories as well. So we are not afraid of that territory here. So we're going to have a real good conversation today. I'm still recovering, guys, from my trip to LA and then getting a cold when I came back. So my voice is a little bit, you know, here and there, but I'm still working with it and we cutting through it because we need this wellness session. I mean, we need several of these wellness sessions to hold us over until season 3. You know what I'm saying? I'll give them 2 years. I can give them 2 years, but we definitely not going to be waiting another 3. So, but yeah, I can give them 2 years. I'll give them 2027. And that really is not too far off when you think about it. You know, there's a couple good shows coming out and we'll also be keeping up with the good Severance content. You know what I'm saying? We got some people in the building already. It's good. Okay. Let's go through some shout outs real quick. It's probably about that time real quick. And then we'll bring our wonderful, beautiful guest up. All right. All right. Who else we got? We got Miss Ann in the building. Was here early, actually. She said, yes, do it, Seth. Mia Moore is here. Miscellaneous Gab is in the building. Yes, we're here. This was a little bit earlier. Debbie, Ebby, Bo, Bebby, Banana, Fana, Febby, to the Fee, 5 Mo, Man, B is here. I'm sure she'll be back here if she's not here with us now. John Cook, good to see you, fam. Good to see you. Yes, welcome. Holly is here. We got Brother Demo is in the building. Good to see you, Demo. I'll be seeing you in person real soon. So I'm come up there to Providence soon to check you out, bro. Peace. We got Dawn in the building. We got Seema in the building. Seema was here very early too. Okay, we got Harry here. What's good, Harry? Good to see you. David is here. What's going on, David? We got Terrell here. What's good, Terrell? Yep, time to roll up and get started. Yes, indeed. Harry said, I'm psyched for Miscellaneous Gab. Also, please get Helly Refined. Yes, indeed. Yo, the Severance community is so dope. And so many creators have such good installations to what we're watching and what we need. They just install the dopest videos. Like Miscellaneous Gab is definitely top tier. Fucking with her heavy. We got the cat in the tinfoil hat is in the building. Debbie's here. Yes, she is. Please enjoy each music dance experience equally. Yes, that's what we do. We have to enjoy them things equally. I might even outro us one. You know what I'm saying? Like put one at the end. What's up? We got oh, no doubt. We got Shani in the building. What's good, Shani? Shani is here. Holistic Self TV. Yes, we love Shani. Indeed. Jen, the teacher, is here. Oh, snap. I see I got a text message from you, Shani. Oh, that's what's up. Yo, I'll check you out in a second here. Yes, Jen, the teacher, is in the building. What's good, Jen? Elizabeth is in the building. What's good, Elizabeth D? It's good to see you here. We got Jake Thornton here. Yes, indeed. We got my brother, All City Big Heck, is in the building. Yes. We got Tiffany Love is here. The beautiful, wonderful Joy is in the building. Oh yeah, we got the fam is in here. Aaron Lauren is with us. No Context is here. We have Skeeter Egan. We got some of the Egan blood in the building. I think Skeeter probably opened up one of them doors on the testing floor or some shit. You never know. You know what I mean? We got Coriano is in the building. What's good, Coriano? Good to see you. The Unperson. What's good? Yeah, we here again. That's right. I might do another one tomorrow. Keep talking. I'll do another one tomorrow. We'll be back. You can come join that one too. Yeah, we had a good time last night. Shout out to everybody who came through. My brother Golden Child's in the building. Deeper than Atlantis, G. Yes, indeed. All right, all right. Who else is here? We got the single letter S is in the building. They have until mid 2026 with the nose, and you ready for all the smoke. Yeah, yo, you know what? That's where I'm at with it. But I can give them until like January 2027. Like at least we better get a mid 2026. We better have a trailer or something. We need something by then. We need something that we can start just theorizing on, a teaser, something. Like, don't play around with us like that. You know what I'm saying? We got Rock in the building. What's good, Rock Road? We got Ghost MKC is in the building. The rabbit hole goes deeper, I promise. Yes, it does. Yes, it really does, Ghost MKC. I saw something you said about me not talking about your theory. Yo, man, come on, yo. You already know. We talk about every theory. I don't theory shame over here at all. Like, all theories are welcome. Like, I strive to get things wrong over here. So we can talk about any kind of theory. You know what I'm saying? I like the theory. I'm actually starting to like the theory that Cobell may be Devin and Mark's mother. I'm starting to like the theory. I think that it's debunked already, but I definitely like the tenacity of it. You dig? Like that one is that Jay's in the building. Jay says salutes. Yes, indeed. Salute, fam. Yes, indeed. If I'm missing you here, like charge it to the head and not to the heart. We got Gracie here. Hold on. She said I got like 60. I did get like 6 texts from you. I didn't even see them coming. I was in like a little quick meeting before the stream, real quick. Ah, oh yeah. Okay, I got you. I got you, sis. Don't even worry. We got Chris Reed in the building. What's good, Chris? We got Raspberry. We got Lady Stoneheart. Who else we got? We got Low Reacts. Good. What's good, Low? How you doing? Early 26, early 26. Yeah, that's what we hoping for. I would love that. That would be crazy, actually. All theories are valid. That's right, because it's a theory. And we're just having fun with this. All City Hex says, I theory shame. Hey, yo, you know what? And to the theory shamers, even if you do theory shame, if your theory shaming is funny and it's comical, I'll laugh with you, but I'm not going to shame the theory though. But if it's funny and you pushing back at a theory and it's funny, yeah, I can go for that. It's funny. It's funny. We got Fat Rodents in the building. What's good? Wait, I'm Fat Rodents. I kind of feel like you wanted to call yourself Fat Rat. That's what I'm feeling. Thank you and welcome. Said new sub coming over from Miscellaneous Gab. Looking forward to you too. Oh man, that's dope. Thank you so much. Yes, indeed. We got Jamie in the building. Let's cook. Hold on. Who else we got? I saw Holly. We got Gengish in here. What's going on here? Yes, we got Miscellaneous Gab in the building. Matter of fact, let me bring her on up, see what she got to say. She probably want to holler at some of y'all too. What am I doing? Hold up. Here she is. What's good? Thank you for
Hi.
joining us, Miss. What's going on with you?
Thanks for having me. I'm laughing at some of these names. Skeeter Egan specifically is hilarious. I'm just over here giggling at all the
Yeah.
messages.
Oh, you know what? We gonna stop with this shout outs right here. I said something to Skeeter Egan about him being able to open the door. And I think that's a perfect place for us to start the conversation because I have a question for you.
Let's do it.
The blood drop that had to be taken to get into the door, is that Egan blood? Or is that just like a database of like the higher ups in that nurse? Or like, what is that going on? And does that imply the implication saying that evil Hodor could have possibly been an Egan?
Yeah, I thought about that, especially I think in episode 3 or after the Ortbo episode 5 when he refers to James as father, and on the subtitles it's like a capital F, and either he just thinks of him as the head of the CEO or the father, or is he actually one of the secret bastards that James has sired in the shadow? I could totally see how he'd want to keep his people close, even if he doesn't feel like they're the cure enough to take over the company. So I totally think there's definitely something to the blood, being worthy, having the right kind of blood, having the right kind of DNA. We don't know how busy this man has gotten, how down he's spread, how far he's spread his seed. So I think Evil Hodor could definitely be a Jaime Egan bastard for sure.
Yo, that would be crazy. Okay, so all right, so I love how you said that he could possibly be one of the many that were sired in the shadows. I think James Egan should come out with an album called Siring in the Shadows. Like it should be like, and it should be like a gospel album though. You know what I'm saying? With like the Cure vibes and all of that. But no, seriously. Okay, so Evil Hodor, his blood being able to be used to enter the room through a tie. And I thought that
Yeah.
that was a play on blood ties.
Ooh, yeah, I saw that in your video. I think that's a brilliant connection.
Okay,
Es
okay.
Especially if you think about it when we know that there's, like, the culty Kier mindset, and when Cobell said that Kier's knowledge is for all, I could actually see some weird, creepy sexual thing with Jane being like, Kier's seed is for all, like, almost like you have this duty to pass along the bloodline, the blood ties, and to create this, like, kind of interrelated network of people that I mean, even Helena said that she thought all the workers were like her cousins or something. Maybe they literally actually are.
Okay, so what makes Helly special or Helena special then? Like, what makes her next in line then? Who is her mother? Like, is
Right.
there any, do you know of any mention of whoever Jane married and had
No.
Helena with? Because
The
her mother's only
only
brought up at the very beginning when it's like, do you remember the color of your mother's eye?
Yeah, and I kinda wonder if that's like a fake out, like even real Helena wouldn't know the color of her mother's eyes because maybe she's never met her mother as well. So I feel like we have to that has to be an Easter egg or something that there's like they would have mentioned it by now if her mother had been there. So it's
You
either
know who I think,
Cobell or
you know
someone
who I
else.
thought was her mother?
Who's that?
Sissy.
Ooh. That's a
I
good
kind of
one.
thought that Sissy was her mother. And
Yeah.
a lot of people were saying that Cobell could be her mother.
Yeah.
I believe that
I
Cobell
think
had
Cobell
children.
could be. Yeah. I mean, all those hours that her and James spent together developing the severance procedure, I could definitely see that, and we still like, Harmony still might be severed. We saw the name Harmony in the control panel in season 1. So she could have been one of James's girls brought to the birthing cabin, one of the early severed people, and who knows, maybe she doesn't know that she had a child.
Mm.
Because if you think about it, James being a descendant of Kier and Harmony Cobell being this like baby genius person to invent the severance procedure, like why not bring those two bloodlines together to create like the next evolution of the Egan dynasty?
Okay, so since we're on this vibe right here, let me know and let everybody know who all do you think are Egans that we have come across on the show?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, if we are going with everyone who has door access, we got Evil Hodor, that nurse, and potentially Dr. Maurer. Or what do you call Dr. Maurer?
Dr.
You have a
Peabody.
name for him.
Dr.
Dr.
Peabody.
Peabody.
Yo, you know
Dr.
what's so
Peabody.
crazy? Both of my nicknames panned out. Dr.
Yeah,
Peabody and Evil Hodor. Evil Hodor, as we know, held the door, right?
he held it. Yeah.
But Severance got a Peabody Award. How about that? Like,
I feel
yo.
like you're psychic. You're onto something.
And it's just coming out in my jokes. Like, forget my theories. Pay attention to the jokes.
Yeah, exactly. I still
Okay,
think
so
Rickon might be an Egan as well,
okay,
and
okay,
might not
okay.
know it.
That's gonna lead me to my next question for you. Um, keep going though. I know you got some more.
No, I wanted to hear who you thought. That's pretty much the end of my line.
Okay. I'll say the nurse, Dr. Peabody, Evil Hodor, Helly. And I think the guy that was Helly's driver when
Mm,
Cobell pulled up on them in the parking lot, he looks like
yeah.
one of the Egans from the Perpetuity Wing.
Yeah. He
Um,
does.
what was his name? Uh, Baird. He looks like Baird Egan. Um,
Totally.
who else? A lot of people are saying Rickon, right? And I'm halfway on board with that, but I don't think it's the same way. And I'm going to get to that. Are you familiar with the UUR?
Yeah.
Have
Yeah,
you listened
definitely.
to it?
Yeah, I did a video on it as well. So I did a super deep dive there.
Oh, you did? Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
we did a members only live on that and we listened to it together and we
Oh,
had some
cool.
really good notes in the chat and it was a good it was definitely a good session. But okay, so I'll just stop my line right there. I think there are more Egans, maybe even Rebecca. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even more, right?
Yeah.
But for the Rickon thing, a lot of people are thinking that he might be like one of James bastards or whatever. Um, and in his book, he talks about how his parents were like, you know, uh, theater workers, or what was
Performance artists.
yes,
Yeah.
performance artists, right? Performance artists, and he was pretty much conceived on the stage, right? And he was born on the stage, and he talks about all these like important people that were there in the room. Um, one of the strangest references he made to me was Sister Act that kind of like,
Mm,
put this into like our real world almost like. But then I was thinking like the nature of Dieter. What if the
mm.
nature like he's an offspring of Dieter Egan if Dieter was real?
Ooh.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Dieter, rubbing one out in front of his brother and tossing it in the soil and whatnot. That sounds a lot like Rickon's parents to me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Possibly there. Then you have the goat thing. What's your thoughts on the goats in reference to like people and
Yeah.
like
Well,
other than the sacrifice
yeah,
aspect?
yeah. I mean, I think that part of me thinks, and I know we kind of talked about this beforehand, that the religion, because I mean, there's definitely a cult, but there's definitely a religion associated with it, with the idea of the afterlife and a goat shepherding you to the afterlife. We see at least 2 to 3 goat images in Rickon's house. There's a goat in this season. There's a goat in the child's bed. So I kind of wonder if this more like, I guess, Kier religion is more pervasive throughout Kier, that everyone is of the Kier religion, and
Mm,
that he is a descendant of this. And you know, about his family and his parents being performance artists. I don't know if you guys talked about this in the live, but when Rickon talks about kind of that first sexual experience he had, I think towards his teacher or something, if you remember,
mhm.
he
Yeah,
even refers to his social worker. He's like, my social worker. And I remember thinking it was so small, but like, why do you have a social worker? Were you taken
right.
away from your parents? Were your parents abusive? So part of me wonders if he wasn't
If
an
he was an
actual
orphan,
descendant. Yeah, if he
right.
was maybe taken away, like maybe his parents were fucked up. And I mean, if you're giving birth as part of an art experiment, maybe he was taken away from his parents, was put in some Egan school, and is also a secret kind of worshiper of at least this religion, and has been indoctrinated or severed in some way.
Yeah, I mean, because okay, so one thing that we do know is that Rickon and Devin are directly tied to the Lexington letters
Yeah.
because they lived in New York at the time of the explosion, and they moved back, and Mark was there. I'm very curious on like the origin story of these people because
Yeah.
if how did when him and Rick when Devin and Rickon met, were they in New York? Did they? Where is Rickon from? Does the Lexington letters break that down? I mean,
No,
does the UUR break that down where he's actually
I
like what city he's from?
I don't think so. I think he talks about, like, a bee internship that he had or something, or Belgium as, like, maybe something he didn't know, but I don't think he talks about where he's actually from. It's only that he and Devin lived in the city, and after the explosion, she wanted to get out because she was kind of scared after this crazy, like, attack that happened. So I have no
But
idea
Mark and
where he's
Devin
from.
are from Gantz, right?
I think so. I don't think
I think
'cause I yeah, I don't know.
right, because okay, so all right, so the Lexington letters takes place 4 years before the events of season one.
Right.
How long how long were Mark and Gemma married? They were married for like 4 years before the events of season one, right?
Yeah, I think they had been together for 4 years, for
Okay, so
sure.
that means that so for if it was 4 years, so then he was married to Devin before Rick and Devin came back to Gantz.
I think so. Yeah.
So if Rickon and Devin moved back to Gantz then from New York, then they went back to Devin's hometown. So where
Prop
does
must be.
you see what I'm saying? So from New
Yeah.
York, they left and went back to her hometown, right? So where would Rickon come in at? Like maybe they met there. Maybe they're from both around from the same area and moved to New York and ended up moving back. Maybe I don't know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm trying to connect those dots because how would the Rickon be an Egan? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Rickon's Rickon Hale, that name actually like it's not a perfect anagram, but it pretty much says cure can heal.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah,
I love
it's
the
not a
anagram
perfect
connection.
anagram, but it breaks down
Okay.
to cure can heal. And hold on, I was looking up another anagram for Rickon as well. The hamburger waiter, uh,
Ooh,
let me see. The hamburger waiter anagram came out to something German, and it was very significant. And it came out to two, but they weren't perfect. They weren't perfect like one letter one time, but it definitely had a message. Um, a Wehrmacht barrier, and
ooh,
a Wehrmacht was a German military spy, right? And so you have the
interesting.
German connections with Dr. Peabody. You have the whole paperclip situation with Milchick and his paperclips, Operation
Yeah.
Paperclip, testing subjects and whatnot. And then there was another one, hamburger waiter came out to beware grim author.
Ooh,
And that one, I
scary.
was okay, very interesting here. So,
Yeah.
him calling himself an old hamburger waiter was kind of like, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
You
What
know,
do you think
and
of that with the result in German? Do you think that's connected to, like, that some of the machines, the medical devices on the testing floor being in German as well?
yes, absolutely. I believe that no doubt they were referencing like paperclip um, candidates with Dr.
Mhm.
Mahler, Masonic ties. Mar means brick wall builder. You know what I'm saying? Which would be a
Yeah.
mason. Um, you know what I mean? Like it's so much there that it's undeniable to, in my opinion, for
Too
those all
many
those
too many things to be a coincidence.
right, especially what
Yeah.
and we find out what he's doing on the testing floor is literally torturing someone. Like,
Yeah.
dental,
With
mouth torture.
yeah, and even that, I think, like, the record player on the wall in Gemma's room, like, the sound controls are in German as well. So that's my craziest theory is that Kier is just some, like, testing site where, like, Russia, Germany, the US have come together. That's, like, my crazy out there theory, but it's like, why would there be, like, German manufactured, medical devices and speakers in this room where everyone's speaking English?
Right. And it almost screams like hey, we were brought here, and this is our manufacturers are German.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Our
With a
manufacturers are
German
German
name for the fertility clinic as well.
as well. Yes. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's all there. Like a lot of people scoffed at those theories that I had about Operation Paperclip. Some tried to even call me out, like as far as showing proof. And so the following video, I dropped some documents on there. You know what I'm saying? I put it on there where you can pause and read them. But our government has been dealing and literally severing people already. Like this is
Yeah.
something that our government actually did. Like they used to do this through hypnosis, where they would find people that didn't have like many family members and things like that. They may have been orphaned. They would raise them and they would hypnotize them and have them join certain organizations. And they would come back not even knowing that they were there in that organization or that they're a part of
Wow.
this organization. And then they would give that information to uh, the government pretty much. And I see Ghost MKC saying MK Ultra. No, bro, this is before MK Ultra. This is before World War II. This is before
Mm.
Operation Paperclip. MK Ultra came out from the paperclip scientists that they brought over here. And that led to what we know as MK Ultra, which was crazy. It was just another crazy level. They were even testing like psychic abilities and remote viewing, and that they made a movie about that called The Men Who Stare at Goats. And
Yeah.
there's your goat symbolism also within that movie and the title and everything. They were making the goats die just by like looking at them and whatnot.
Oh my
That was
god,
a
I
George
remember that
Clooney flick.
movie. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
George
haven't seen that
Clooney.
in so long, but I'm gonna need to go back down that rabbit hole.
Oh yeah, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying. So it's definitely yes, indeed, MKC. It is all linked. It's definitely all linked together. It's just a continuation of a program that the United States government had been trying to perfect. And I don't believe that those types of programs are things that they just toss away. I think they're still here today,
Yeah.
you know.
They evolve.
Yeah. What do you think how do you feel about the ending with the crib being in Cold Harbor? I felt it to be myself a little bit uneventful.
Yeah, I felt like it was a little bit of a letdown, and I feel like I always have to talk kind of carefully about this because obviously I understand that the miscarriage and the fertility struggles were very traumatic for Gemma, and I don't want to like minimize anyone who has to go through that.
Oh,
But
no.
in my opinion, it's like she was kind of numb to that at by the end. She was like numb, defeated, whatever. So I was surprised that that was the final boss, if you will. Like I felt like the barriers holding was also like even her seeing Mark as Miss Casey may have been just as important, at least just as important of a test as the crib, or even more important. And also, she wasn't even the one to take apart the crib in real life. That was Mark.
That was
She wasn't
Mark's
wearing that
experience.
outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wasn't wearing that outfit when she took apart the crib. And then why do they only need to test it one time? Every other room she went into a billion times. So yeah, I'm still like a little bit I trust them, but that was slightly anticlimactic for me, I think.
Yeah, and another thing was how full the rest of the rooms were, and this room was just like a blank room with a crib in it. Like,
Yeah.
the only thing that satisfied me about what was actually in the room is Cobell's explanation to Mark about what he's refining down there. She specifically said, "You're refining the any."
Yeah.
Like, you're not
Yeah.
actually preparing the room, you're refining the any, you're creating the any. And so it makes sense that it was Mark's experience of him having that crib. Now,
Mm.
not being able to put up the crib. Now, what is very interesting about this is if they're talking about, I think that the fact that the crib was there is it proves that the barriers do not work.
Mm.
Do you feel where I'm
Interesting.
coming from?
Like, because the crib, like, that's the crib being there was proof, or what do you mean?
The crib being there itself is proof that the barriers do not work. How is this? Why do I say this? Because the crib was Mark's Audi's experience.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
if we're making the any for this crib, like, oh, okay, I get it now. However, it still doesn't like totally connect for me. Um,
Mhm.
but one thing that it does raise, and I just had an epiphany right here on the live stream.
Let's hear
Dig
it.
this. This was planned all from the beginning, and I think Gemma was sent to him for a reason.
Mm.
How do we know this? Because Mark bought that crib because he said he found a sale. It was on sale. And so he bought the crib. That was what he said, right? But the
Right.
crib was encoded with Cold Harbor on the numbers, on the crib, on
Yeah.
the box.
Yeah.
So this means that that crib was destined to be Cold Harbor before Mark was even severed.
Yeah. Yeah. All part of the plan.
It was all part of a plan, and they have been like really controlling the steps.
Yeah.
Every
And I think it has to be something in her blood as well, because they meet when their blood is being monitored as well. So it's like it was by design. I think everything was by design.
Yeah, she sits right next to him at a blood drive.
Yeah.
Like,
And
who
there were
does
other empty chairs. There are
empty
other
chairs
chairs
all over the
available.
place?
Yeah.
Like, and we know that she sat next to him because the nurse was still hooking her up to the machine and all of that when we seen the scene when the scene starts and they show it to
Right.
us. So,
Yeah.
and he was already hooked up, reading his book, his students' work or whatever, blah, 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 grading the paper or whatever he was doing. So, yeah, this was already planned for them. That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
that's that's crazy. So, yeah,
I
so
just
she was most likely in on it.
Yeah, I feel like there's still so many unanswered questions, and I agree with someone who commented, like, the clue being in episode 7. I feel like episode 7 is that key that holds so many clues for everything. And I always thought they were refining the rooms, but it's like, no, they're refining the innies. They're creating the innies. But yeah, I guess my question still is, like, why was it the crib and only the crib that is the efficacy test? I would have thought, like, the efficacy test could have been her with Mark, spending prolonged time with Mark, because you almost have like a couple layers of separation. Like you said, it was Mark's Audi that had the memory of like taking apart the crib and kind of giving up on their fertility journey. And then there's a layer of severance between Mark's Audi and Mark's innie. And then there's the other layers of severance with Gemma. So it's like, if this pain can transcend all these different layers of severance. I don't know. It kind of makes my brain hurt when I think about it.
You know, one thing that I'm noticing is that the severance chips are all uniform. And what I mean by that is I don't think that Gemma has a higher tech chip. I think all of these chips are possible of doing this.
Mm,
Cobell alludes to this when she tells Mark that his chip is only in tune with that floor. So his chip has, so all of the chip, and I would assume that he has a newer chip than Gemma, being that he's severed
yeah.
after, right?
Yeah. At
So,
least 2 years after.
right. You know what I'm saying? So he probably has a newer chip than hers. And so I'm thinking that these chips all can do the same thing. You
Yeah.
can tune these chips to do multiple things. That would again start explaining some of the stuff we heard in the Lexington letter.
Right.
Um, okay, so what we know is that what was her name? Peggy.
Peg Kincaid? Yeah.
Peg, Peggy Kincaid, right? Peggy K or whatever, right? So her innie was creating an innie when she was
Yeah.
refining. 2 minutes
Yes.
later, that person probably had a chip in them, and then all of a sudden they got those directives when she finished that file to 2 minutes later go ahead and blow up this building.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
perpetrator has no knowledge that he even did so.
Yeah. And I think it's about, like, balancing those tempers in the way, like either upping the malice or the woe or whatever it is, to be able to do something like that. And I think in the Lexington letter, they say that they think it's corporate espionage, but a perfect example of corporate espionage is sending people from another company to go work for that other company. So I think they were sending previously severed Lumen employees in to go work for Dorner. And then at that moment, when you finish that file, that's when that thing changes. Either they become a new innie or become something else, or it's just like the tempers are completely out of whack that cause them to be like, yeah, fuck it, my malice is through the roof, I'm gonna crash this truck.
Mm-hmm. Right. So
So
all they had to do was pretty much like have this innie, Peggy, create this innie that had this objective. The numbers were that person's consciousness. Boom. They refined the numbers. The they got 100%. That created this new innie, and they did some sort of OTC or whatever the many protocols that they might have. Though that protocol list was probably longer than what we saw.
totally. Yeah, we only saw those like 5 that were on screen, but you could scroll and see more probably.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And then even the ones that we did see, we don't, I mean, we, the Beehive protocol, that's another thing. I wish they would have showed us, they only gave us one protocol and showed us with the Glasgow block.
Yeah.
But I wish they would have gave us another one, or even like we would have seen something. I wish that would have been awesome to like see some more protocols.
I thought we would get the like Beehive protocol at some point where everyone kind of switches. And I think there's a clue in the UUR when Rickon's talking about like human society is like bee society, where you have a queen, a workers, and the warriors. And I'm like, are we going to go into this like warrior mode, ninja mode, where everyone's like switching on almost like soldiers? Because like soldiers, war, military, I feel like there's a lot of symbolism in that. Even when choreography and merriment are playing their song and Milchik calls them off, they're like, our mission has been compromised, we have to fall back. Like those are military terms. And so if they enacted Beehive, like would these people go into this like kind of crazed soldier mode where you don't have the empathy or anything like that, like become a killing machine? Is that part of Lumen's plan? So that's like some symbolism I saw there, was like the soldier, the military, etc., like creating their own army.
Now, you know, one of those, okay, so Rickon had all of these different um alternate facts. I
Yeah.
don't know if you was catching them. They were
Yeah.
funny as hell. And the
Yeah, they
bees,
were.
right? Because he was saying that the wasps are warriors for the bees. And I'm like, no.
Because
Like
wasps aren't
wasps,
our
first of
bees,
all,
right?
wasps aren't even bees. And
Yeah.
and then like, you know, it was so that I think that all of his alternate facts are actually the things that we should be paying attention to.
Yeah,
And
totally.
just like what you said about the bees and how the workers and how they, you know, I'm thinking like what you're describing to me is a
Yeah.
swarm of bees. Like
Yeah.
you throw that beehive protocol on and you see a swarm of innies just come out of nowhere, similar to how she rung the bell and then all the mammalians just came out of nowhere real quick.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Something like that. Maybe resembling the picture of Kier pardoning his betrayers with all those soldiers in the back on some beehive protocol shit.
Yeah, and even in the speaking of paintings, even in kind of like the grim barbarity of optics and design in those photos, it does show like people almost like massacring another department, like they're almost taken over or possessed or something. And I wonder if that is the Beehive protocol, where a department can just switch and go on the attack and all the malice is through the roof and the frolic is down and they're just like hacking at people. And if that's something that Lumen is testing with all these huge departments full of people.
Oh my goodness, that goes right to what I was saying about the chips, all of the chips kind of being able to do the same thing, because we've already seen them demonstrate multiple innies with one chip already with Gemma.
Right.
And
Yeah.
are you on board with thinking that there are more test subjects down there?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, there's like the unmarked rooms as well next to Gemma that has no label on it. I think someone else is living there.
Yes, yes, the other unmarked rooms. I'm gonna try to pull up some pictures real quick, and keep in mind that these two shots are shots that Where can I find them at? Where do I have them at? Okay, I might have them here. Okay, so these two shots are shots that are like back to back. Like there's no I didn't do anything to these shots. Like it's one frame and it's the very next frame. The lady has blood on her finger. Hold on. I might be able to just pull it up in this video here. I should have had this ready. But since we're talking about the beehive stuff, I want to bring up something as well, a connection that I made. But let me get this out of the way first. Okay, let's see.
And while you're pulling that up, I'm excited about, remember how Petey says he thinks some people just live down there? I think in season 3 they'll be exploring Petey's map, which is like this background on your live right now. Maybe they just have whole hangars full of innies as well that can like become that beehive or the warriors or the swarm or the defense.
Where do you think the Orbo took place?
I have always thought that at first I'm like, it took place outside. I definitely see all of the proof that it could have been a simulation, but I don't think I really have a firm belief either way. Like I think it was outside, but then I understand all the proof that it could be inside. So I guess I'm kind of, I could go either way. I'm not like a firm believer on one or the other.
Okay, so here is the shot. Can you see this?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's the shot, and here's the hand, and you can see the little scar on her cuticle right there, right? Like you see
Yeah.
the little mark on her cuticle there,
Yeah.
but you see no blood. And I mean, it's
Yeah.
literally like light shining on it. Like you should be able to see that, especially with it being dark red blood, right? But then
Right.
the very next shot is this, right? And
Yeah.
so they kind of
Yeah.
did it deliberately, like this was the same,
The
it
same
showed her
day.
hand there, and then it showed it showed her hand there in that first shot, and then they did a close up, and then you can see that there's blood on her fingers. And this implies to me that she had been going through test rooms before she came to Gemma to take her to Cold Harbor.
Mm.
This was the only test room she went into today. She went and changed clothes, and she finally taking her to Cold Harbor. Like, so are
Yeah, because those
all of
aren't
these,
scars, like, that's dried blood. That's, like,
yeah,
fresh.
exactly. That's like fresh, dry blood. And it's kind of like obvious. Like they put it on there to make it look really obvious. And you don't see it the shot before that, boom.
That's such a good call. Yeah.
Like what? So and then they do the close up and bang.
There's, like,
And
at least 5 or 6 little pricks on there.
right, so and they look fresh, like she just like it looks like she was purposely moving her finger out the way so she didn't get hit in the same hole twice.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know what
because
I'm
that would
saying?
hurt.
Like, here, hit it here this time, but
Yeah. Yeah,
you
that's such
know,
a good catch.
and they've also shown us that she braces herself for that prick because she knows it's about to come. Like, you
Mhm.
know, they made a point to show her face during that.
Yeah.
I thought that
Yeah.
was okay. So I think there are more people down there. I definitely think there
Yeah.
are more people down there. And why would they be going through the same uh why are they going through the same rooms? I mean, Gemma alluded to knowing all of the rooms and that the Cold Harbor room is the only one that she didn't go into.
Right. Right.
So would the other test subjects, and they're like their rooms appear to be like right next to hers.
Yeah.
So why would they be going like because when they get to Cold Harbor, what's up with that? Like, are they going to
Yeah, is
take
it something
apart the
different
crib?
for them? Yeah, yeah, it's not like that crib wouldn't mean anything to another person.
Hmm.
That's
Does
so
the
interesting.
like what's going on here? Like they've they really have not really made it clear. They gave us some answers that there's some freaky shit going on down there,
Yeah.
but they have not really like made it clear on anything.
Yeah,
And
yeah, absolutely. Well, because they show, like, Tumwater even when Cobell's going through and is like, all these files, they show Tumwater show up, and Tumwater was actually one of Dylan's as well, so
Right.
I wonder yeah, like, Dylan was the one who refined Tumwater, and that shows up there as well.
Right. And so if he's done Tumwater and she's gone through the Tumwater room, then there wouldn't be any stress to a severance barrier, right? Because she wouldn't
Yeah.
remember anything that the any wouldn't remember. Or what? Okay, so that kind of explains what's going on in the other rooms, like the airplane room. Maybe it's has someone had a fear of heights or talked about a fear of airplanes or anything like that? Have we seen anything like
Ooh, yeah, yeah. Because I haven't heard any mention of the airplane. The only thing that I heard that related to Gemma's actual life was obviously the crib and, hating Christmas cards, but I wonder if some of the rooms are, like, all-purpose scary rooms, like planes and dentists, everyone hates that stuff.
Right, right. Okay, so what we were talking about before we got into this, we were talking about the Beehive Protocol, right?
Yeah.
And I think that that is a perfect time to talk about a connection that I made in this recent video. And it is the connection between the honeycomb, the
Mm,
waffle, and the wafer, and the
yeah,
actual
yeah.
waffle party itself. What do you think about and I know you're familiar with the theory or the nuance, right? What do you think about the waffle being the body of Kier and like Dylan taking the body of Kier and then doing that weird ritual, you know?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't think about it until you explained it in your recent video, and then it blew my mind, and then I'm like, "Yes, absolutely," because that waffle party is like a religious experience, even in the card, it's a waffle. Why is it always a waffle? And when you talked about the root word, waffle, wafer, being this, Eucharist, being the body of the Christ Lord, which in this case is Kier, and how it's always accompanied by some sort of like religious experience, ecstatic dance, song. I mean, that put everything in place for me, but I didn't come to that conclusion on my own. That was definitely your brilliant theory that connected those pieces for me.
Yo, um that speaks a lot to what's actually going on. I know you haven't watched From yet.
Right.
But this is not much of a spoiler. Okay, I can just break down From. From is like this enigmatic town that people ride into and they can't get out. And there's monsters
Mm,
there that come out at night and they just look like regular people from like the 50s and 60s and
okay.
they just smile at you, but they'll kill you and like gut you open and all of this crazy shit,
Oh
right? But
god.
they
Yeah.
don't really show a lot of that at all. They never show you what the monsters do until, like, season 3. It's crazy,
Okay.
but
It's
they
kind of in the
don't even
shadows.
really and they don't really even get into what they do or why they do it. But I noticed another thing in that show is pancakes. They like
Mm,
they're like pancakes are like a big trope on the show. Like there's always talking about pancakes and one of the characters is able to make pancakes and which is another like breakfast item like waffles. And I've talked about how like symbolism kind of carries from show to show. Within the last 5 years they've been dropping like a lot of the same symbolism. And another thing was the egg symbolism in Severance was also in From um and it
okay.
the egg symbolism was ever since season 1 in Severance, right? They had the egg party, the egg drop contest with,
The
Felicia
raw
and Bert,
eggs.
the raw
Yeah.
eggs, the deviled eggs, and they had a deviled egg plate in From. Like, they
Yeah.
literally a character dies, and they literally, deviled eggs are called dressed eggs. That's the,
Mm,
um, technical term for them, like dressed eggs. And what it is, a deviled egg is boiled, then the skin is peeled, then the insides are scooped out, pumped back, filled back in, and redressed, right? And this is
mm.
what they literally did to one of the characters. They peeled her
Ooh.
skin, scooped her insides out, and then they ended up filling her
Scary.
back up, redressing her, and they put her picture on a literal deviled egg platter. And
Oh my
so,
god.
yeah. And so like I was talking about this egg symbolism the whole time, and not to for anybody, I'm not really spoiling anything. Well, yeah, I'm not gonna say that part because that's like a heavy spoiler. But what the main thing had to do with egg symbolism at the end. The main like thing had to do with egg symbolism. What is your thought on these fertility symbolisms? What is your thought on these religious Eucharist symbolism and the waffles and the Masonic, the white gloves, and how Felicia and the one girl was wearing the white gloves and they were holding their hands like what is the Eastern stars, right?
Yeah,
Uh
yeah, down,
Nina,
like
yeah. And well
yeah,
then you had Cobell doing the triangle, downward triangle, which is the Yoni mudra. Um
yeah,
what is your thoughts about all of this fertility? I know you don't want to see a baby and all that or her being pregnant, but what
yeah.
are your thoughts about
I mean, I think there's so much in it. Like you said, it can't be a coincidence. There's just like the German thing. There's too much for it to be a coincidence. You have the eggs, the boiled eggs, the fertility, the fertility treatments. You have the baby cures in the intro, and then you're obviously way more well versed in like the Masonic, esoteric things than I am. I learned most of that through your videos, but I think what it's telling me is that there's so much more to the grand plan of this company, of this religion, of everything. And I think that like I think it was Ben Stiller said in an interview that like Kier's original plan was to take away pain, was to take away pain from mankind, a cure for all mankind. And I know you're big on like the mountebank snake oil angle, and that
it?
at somewhere along the line, like Jame represents a deviation in that, and
Mhm.
Hellion kind of this second generation of the Egans. And so I kind of wonder if what started with like the snake oil salesman, the salve, some of this kind of like circusy mumbo jumbo has turned into this almost like domination, create a generation of people and army, and it's like way more into the culty vibes. At least that's my like disjointed, disconnected thing. And as much as I don't want to see Helly pregnant or Helena pregnant, like it could very well happen as a continuation of this. And we still don't know why Mark and Gemma were selected or what's in their blood. We still don't know. So I know it means something. I'm just very curious to see where it leads to. But what about you? Because I feel like you have this way more figured out than I do.
I I look at it and I always notice that these things I can see the symbolism, but it's like hard to predict what's about to happen. Like I
Mhm.
saw a bunch of symbolism that I was pointing out and from, and then something very strange happened last year. Like last year
Okay.
was a crazy. So my 2023 theories and symbolism, the Vesica Pisces pointing out all of that stuff, turned out to be something really crazy for that actually happened in reality for 2024. And it's always easier to look at these things in hindsight. I don't want to get this video struck down because it seems like every time I talk about this, they strike the video down. Like I've
Okay.
talked about this in a couple of videos, and they've
They don't
like,
want you to know. They don't want us to they don't want us to know.
well, I think that they're like labeling it as conspiracy theory and stuff like that, which I actually loathe that terminology. Like, it's ridiculous. I'm not actually saying that anything is nefarious here. I'm just pointing out the facts. Like we see, that's all I'm doing really. Have um I never have a judgment on these things. Like
Right. You're not pushing an
we
agenda. You're just
right, I'm not
exploring
I
these
don't have an
concepts.
agenda. Exactly. I don't have an
Yeah.
my only agenda is, hey, let's start looking at this symbolism and realize what it is. Let's start looking at the symbolism and start figuring it out. It's not my fault that some of these things actually start happening in our reality. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I want to point one out to you. I'm not going to throw my homie under the bus and everything because, homie's dear to me. So, but the Salt's Neck thing, I pointed out in Salt's Neck, there's an article that I found that was at the Chinese restaurant that they actually shot that scene at the Chinese restaurant.
Mm.
And I found an
Yeah.
article that was on the wall at that Illumin article. A Kier, what is it? The Kier Chronicle. I found a Kier
Yeah.
Chronicle article that talked about Lumen had the plant that poured alcohol in the water supply at Salt's Neck, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, in our real world, there's something going on in New York right now where there's been like some type of contaminants poured into the water. Like this
Yeah.
is like literally going on right now, and they don't know like what they're gonna do about a water supply soon. But like it's crazy. Like these things kind of pop up into our reality, and I just you know jokingly and sometimes seriously attribute it to life entertainment, imitating art, and
Yeah.
sometimes maybe it's art entertaining imitating life. But it is what it is. Like I point out the symbolism because I think it's fun. I think it's fun to see it and point it out and
Totally.
stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Well,
So
and I think like the water tower, there's definitely something going on with water, and they do all the shots of the water tower, and it always
mm,
reminds me like this show reminds me a lot in certain ways of like one of my favorite movies, which is V for Vendetta, where it's like the person who causes the problem brings the cure to the problem to get you to sell your freedom or to own you or to gain more power. So it's like if they're putting alcohol in the water supply or something, and then they come with their clean purified water, it's like they're on both sides of that equation. They've caused the problem and they've brought the cure.
okay,
And
Mickey B just now pointed it out. Not to cut your wisdom, sis.
yeah,
Mickey,
no,
there it
go
is
for it.
right there. NY
Ooh.
water supply is salty. They're worried about the reservoir because there's so much salt in the water. Isn't that crazy? And we had this
Mm,
whole Salt's Neck situation. And then
yeah.
and they shot in New York for most of this season. They shot in Kingston. You know what I'm saying? That's where they did a lot
Yeah.
of the shooting. And like, yo, like, I mean, some of these things, like, I think that using this esoteric symbolism. Now, this is the baseline, maybe, but using some of this esoteric symbolism, I think that these creators are tapping into something in the ether, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. I mean, I just even you drawing the connection between TV shows and real life, like they're they're all plugged in. We all have this shared consciousness in some way. So totally, like
Mm.
whether it's art imitates life or vice versa, like there's definitely a lot of parallels that we can see in there.
You have brought up a great point for me, real quick. A shared consciousness or a collective consciousness, if you will. When I think of terminologies like that, I think about the Akashic records. Let me ask
Yeah.
you this question as far as Severance is concerned. Do you think that everything that the innies and outies do is being recorded via that chip in some sort of way? Like,
Mm,
we did see that Grainer was able to make like a copy of Petey's chip, and he told Cobell she can go ahead and keep it. I've made a copy.
mm.
What
Yeah.
is there some sort of like Akashic records of this collective consciousness of severed people?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, yeah, love that concept of the Akashic records and the collective consciousness. And I think there's so much symbolism of watchers, like even the second level of the watchers watching the innies and the twins and these observers and everything. And I totally forgot about being able to make a copy as well. And it kind of goes into my crazy theory, like Operation Paperclip everything with the German machinery and stuff, and Kier PE not being an official country or state, where it almost is like the entire town is a simulation and everything is an experiment, whether it's like the religion, the cult, the severance, everything. So I hadn't thought about that before, that there's this like massive repository of all the severed innies and outies consciousness. But I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, what okay, so another thing that they kind of felt, we didn't see the board the entire season.
Yeah.
We didn't get the board. All we
Yeah.
heard was a little
Mark
bit of
tried to
static.
yeah, Mark tried to contact them when he runs into Milchick's office, but they never say anything back.
They never say anything back. Can they? What is going on with the board?
Oh man, I don't know if it's just like James being creepy in his little jerk box on his computer, what's going on, or if it's like some weird consciousness. I thought we would learn more about the board in season 2, and we really didn't at all.
Yeah, they didn't really give us anything about the board. And there wasn't really much mention of the board. Um, what are your thoughts about Dieter Egan being AI generated?
So I
The
love
anagram.
the yeah, I love the anagram and I've seen that. I haven't been able to draw that connection. For me, my belief of Dieter is like Dieter Egan represents Kier, Egan's sexual and hedonistic side. And in balancing his tempers and watching his brother like jack off in the forest and then melt into it, like to me the symbolism there was that he kind of cut off his sexual desires. And there's something we've talked about on my channel a lot about asexual reproduction and how pineapples apparently reproduce asexually, and pineapples are a big symbol there. So if there's this ultimate goal of like not cloning, I know clones aren't really a thing, but that they're that the part of the goal is sort of asexual reproduction, or you kind of have to be asexual in a way to like fully tame your tempers and release from pain and hedonism. So that's my big long tangent of I think Dieter is symbolic. I can't really draw the connection of AI generated, but I'd love to hear if you have an opposite take on him being like some sort of AI thing or something like that.
That started leading me to think that the whole care thing is fabricated as well. You know what I mean?
Mm,
But I hope
yeah.
not, actually. That is one of my theories, and I'm gonna stand on that theory. I'll stand behind that theory. However, I hope it's wrong, actually, because I would love to see Mark Geller come on in and actually we see him play Care in some sort of flashback to
Ooh,
explain a
yeah.
little bit about who this guy was. That would be awesome. Like for us
Yeah.
to, I mean, we've stepped outside more, right? We've got the Ortbo. We saw Salt's Neck. We saw Cobell driving on that long road. We got a chance to like get outside a little bit. Even in Ricken's book, he talks about traveling with his assistant and whatnot.
Mhm.
So we're like world building now, right? I would
Right.
love to get a dope, and we've got a flashback with episode 7. So, it's not too far a stretch for what the show has already done. I would love to see Mark get at least one episode as Kier and come in to
Yeah.
play Kier one time. And like during that snake oil salesman period in the mountebanks and the circus, I want to know what the carnival is about. I would love, you know what? You can hold the board for a whole nother season if you give us that. Like I'd love to
I would
see,
love that.
that would be crazy, you
I
know?
actually thought they were going to do that this season because on one of my pre-episode lives, it was before the Sweet Vitriol, I had looked up the IMDb and saw that someone was credited as like an ether addict. And I was thinking, oh my God, they're going to go back into Kier's time and show us him in the ether factory. It's going to be a flashback. It wasn't. It was obviously like a real modern day ether addict, but I just didn't think that I thought it was going to be a flashback, and I got so excited. I would love, love, love a Kier flashback because I think there's so much myth around him. And I think that the Egan agenda has deviated so much from, I mean, Kier could have never conceived of Severance technology or AI or anything like that. I mean, this was like Civil War era. I would love a Kier flashback.
So I brought this picture up to ask you, is this all right? So I have a couple of questions. One, is this who Evil Hodor is trying to be like? Like with the haircut and you know what I'm saying?
In the
Is
belly.
is the belly right? Is he now, is this dude pregnant or is he just milly whopping? What's going on?
I mean, he's holding his belly like a pregnant person would. I the only thing I could glean from this was my previous theory on asexual reproduction, or maybe it's just like Kier really thinks very highly of himself. It's kind of like when people say we're pregnant, and it's like Kier is bringing life, and this is like a physical representation of it, or it's more like this idea that it's a different evolution of birth, because that's what the birthing cabin is. Even though it's a woman giving birth, it's like an innie, it's a different thing giving birth. So I do feel like there's this evolution of procreation and fertility, and like they want to change that. So I had a couple different takes on this. What did you think?
I thought that this was very interesting. I said, what is this statue of evil Hodor doing the Millie Wop? You know what I'm saying? I, I, I was like,
That's so
is he
funny.
pregnant? Is he pregnant? What's going on here? Like, you know what I'm saying? Okay. I noticed a lot of gender swapping notions in the show. Like when Petey bought Mark a card, he said all I could
Mm,
find was a card for a niece. So like here's
yeah.
your card, like you know. And when he has like a little inside joke with his sister where he calls her my lord and she calls him my lady, right?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, good
wondering
catch.
if yeah, right? I'm wondering if and then, like, I mean, the show is called Severed, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, it is
Yeah.
like, kind of, you know, probably trying to bring those kind of notions to the table, which is cool. Like, I mean, this show is gonna explore a lot, right? I noticed
Yeah.
how they explored Irv and Bert having their types of feelings and it, being in any in and outy, right? And
Mm,
I also I'm looking at this chat, yo.
I know. It's so funny. Mark is gonna lay an egg.
I'm trying not to laugh and say what I'm
It's
trying
so
to
funny.
say, but the chat be having me in stitches sometimes. All right. So what I was gonna say is I'm thinking that at some point, I'm wondering if you're able to take a chip from someone and insert that chip into another. And I'm wondering if they would do a gender swapping at some point, like
Ooh,
put a male's chip in a woman or a woman's chip in a male at some point in the show.
yeah.
I think that would be an interesting nuance for them to like tackle and play with and see what would happen. Or if they're uh serious enough to like tackle all of these like philosophical things that they're hitting us with. Why not? Right? Like,
Yeah. I actually think about that when it comes to the idea of the revolving, because I mean, if you think about it, James is like the first CEO that's been the CEO under Severance. None of the other CEOs had Severance be a thing. And I do kind of wonder, because if you think about it, his daughter eats in front of him. She's working out. It's kind of like the calisthenics, the eating, taking care of her body. He even like observes her eating. Her body is her vessel. And I've thought about, what if his whole revolving is that when he gets too old, like he'll actually be implanted into her body. And that would be a gender swap, but it would also be a way for him to live on. And that's why he's been like, I need to find the right vessel, the person who is more like Kier. And that's why he seems pretty obsessed with Helly now, because she does have Kier in her. And I think he wants to live on in the next, like,
mm,
evolution, or the next generation. And that
okay.
would be putting a man in a woman's body.
And that would be kind of taking us to like what is the board? Is the board like a kept version, AI version of a consciousness of Kier, or where would they get this consciousness from to do so? Is
Yeah.
Kier's consciousness, if Kier's a real person, before he died, is it like a Walt Disney situation where he wanted to like cryo himself or whatever? Like what? What are, the implications of what they're laying down can go so many different levels. Let's even put it like this. Now that we know that you can take an innie and make multiple innies out of this, right?
Yeah.
How do we know that the innie from Cold Harbor was a female?
Yeah.
If it was Mark creating it, Mark had to, because what were they testing? They were testing to see if that uh that memory would pass this severance barrier. I'm doing air quotes, right? So
Mhm.
they wanted to see if that memory would pass this severance barrier. It was from the memory of a man. It was from the memory of Mark. Mark is the
Yeah.
one who bought the crib. Mark is the one who had trouble putting it together. So he created the any, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. Is Gemma's any a female every time?
Ooh, that's interesting.
Here's another one.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Since they're able to create all of these innings and they're able to do a Glasgow block and an overtime contingency program, right? Protocol, right? Are they able to swap a chip? Like, are they able to swap a consciousness from a chip? Like, can they throw Helly's consciousness into somebody else's chip, like remotely? Like,
Oh
what
yeah, because
are
they're all uploaded to the cloud in a way, like putting one
right?
in
Yeah,
there.
they're
Yeah.
all uploaded to that same cloud because they have those protocols work for all the chips and all the
Yeah, and
programs.
see, that's what I thought about in this finale, because before I thought it was like they were refining the room, and I thought it was like you got the severance procedure and just the chip in your brain was bifurcating whatever your memories were separating, etc. But it almost feels like that chip has to be programmed with an innie, and even if the other MDR employees aren't programming people on the testing floor, they might need to be responsible for creating new innies, because it seems like every new chip, every new innie that comes to work for Lumen has to be programmed. So in a way, if it is a computer program, then there could be some sort of cloud resource there. It's not just like the physical chip is creating the innie, it's the chip is programmed to, and that is programmed with the innie.
Right, right. We got a couple super chats real quick. We got Fabricilo. Fabricilo, how you doing? I think I said your name. Hopefully I didn't butcher your name. And he says, thank you for the super chat, by the way. He says, hey, Real and Gab, just passing by to say hi from Brazil and praise care. Also in Latin American, Spanish and Portuguese, Gemma means yolk.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Oh,
How about the egg symbolism in that one? Wow.
that's
We got
crazy.
another super chat from MJ323. Thank you for your generosity, fam. Fam said, much respect to you both for your work, mysterious and for both. Blah. Much respect to you both for your mysterious and important work. I appreciate you both equally. Thank you very much, MJ323. Very generous. I appreciate you as well. Yes, we got some dope comments. That Gemma being the yoke comment is fire. Like, I
Yeah, I thought that's so interesting, because someone commented on one of my videos saying that Gemma in Latin means like twin, like Gemini or something. So I
ooh.
wonder if there's like a double entendre with her name, Yoke, twin, and it's meant to give us all these hints, because Gemma's not a very common name.
In the Dante's Inferno situation, Debbie pointed out that Gemma is the name of Dante's wife.
Ooh,
Ooh, so that's real heavy
wow.
right there.
That's a
I
rabbit
mean,
hole right there.
yeah, the name Gemma has and then also just add that to the fact that she literally uh, Helene. I like calling her Helene now.
Yeah.
Like it's just like it fits her. Hell any. Like, you know what I'm saying? Helene. So
Yeah.
she says, what did she call her at the Chinese restaurant?
Hannah.
Hannah. What were your
Yeah.
thoughts on that? I didn't touch that at all. I didn't bother to even touch it. And I did it on purpose because I wanted to hear what my comment section was gonna come with. And
Yeah.
some people came with some good shit. Like, but what did you think about the Hannah thing?
Well, at first I wondered if Hannah was just like, if Gemma herself was an innie and that she had been sent to Mark and she was just another personality of like an original person called Hannah. Obviously, that was like a very loose theory. And
Ooh,
I don't think that ended up being true, unless it still is. And there's
it
still
could
another
be
layer to unravel, that there was
because
this
we don't
Hannah.
know because we still don't know the rhyme and reason why Gemma even ended up there. We don't know if they kidnapped her or anything,
Yeah, and it's just
you
it's
know.
so weird to me that unless Helena was just being an asshole, that she's like the head of the
Tried to
company.
fake
She
like
should
she
know
didn't
what the
know.
yeah, she should know what the person's name. I don't know. That was just a weird, like, that has to mean something
All right,
a
so
bit
let me
more.
get this straight about your theory. Are you saying that Hannah is the original person and Gemma is like an any that was sent to Mark and then she's able to create all of these other innings, because that kind of screams loud as shit to what Dr. Marr was saying when he was yelling at the elevator saying, "You're gonna kill them all."
Yeah, yeah, I think it's like it's kind of a loose theory, I'm not 100% convinced, but if Hannah was this original person and there's something special in her blood or there's just something with her and Gemma itself was a new innie, because we don't learn anything about, like,
Mm.
Gemma's parents, her backstory, or really anything, and if Hannah was, like, this OG person, Gemma's another innie, and there's actually, like, 26 innies, and they're
And
all gonna
then
die now.
and we don't know anything about her backstory or anything. And then Helene's sitting at the restaurant stalking Mark, just drops
Yeah.
it on him, maybe to test if he knows.
Yeah. Yeah, to see how much he knows. And maybe that's yeah, they refer to her as, Hannah or something, like, because that's who she really is. That's yeah, I mean, that's crazy, but that would be so cool if that happened.
That's crazy. I didn't do any like diving on that. I wanted to hear what everybody else had to say about it, because I just kind of thought it was one of those things where she just said that shit to make him think that she didn't know and wasn't like up to speed on his situation that good. And she's just
To make her
faking
not
a
seem
punk.
too stalkerish.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because she already like popping up in the next booth at this random Chinese restaurant. You're an
Yeah.
Egan at this Chinese restaurant. Like, that's weird. And then like you're just sitting there smiling at me. It's obvious that you came here for me. Like, okay, so you
Yeah.
want to talk a little bit? Yeah, we vibing a little bit, but you just talk like, why? What's going on with you bringing up my wife and all this? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it
So
would be kind of like if, like, Jeff Bezos's daughter just, like, waltzes into some, like, shitty Chinese restaurant and starts talking to some random employee of Amazon. Like, that's
yeah,
how weird it would be.
yeah, exactly. That's like the weirdest shit ever. That's the best analogy right there. Like Jeff Bezos's daughter just walks into a random Starbucks and starts stalking one of the Amazon employers and shit.
Yeah, it's like, "You
Or
work for my dad, right?"
yeah. She's like, oh yeah, I know who you are.
Yeah, your wife, Hannah.
You're
That is
Helena
crazy.
Bezos.
Yeah.
you,
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell? That was one of those moments where I see why he ran back to Ragabi. Ragabi, another unresolved thing for me.
Yeah, what's going on with her? Is she coming back?
Like, how did she take all that shit away?
Yeah.
How did she
She packed
leave
up
with
and
all
got
the
out of there.
equipment? Like, did she like put that shit in like a super big ass book bag and just like how? Because how do you get all of that shit from Mark's crib? Like, what did she
Yeah.
ask her? She had the nerve to ask Devin, was she clumsy? Like,
I know she's throwing it all into some crate, putting it in her car, driving away. I am there's so many unanswered questions there with Ragabi. I'm like, is she the one Irving is talking to? She clearly didn't know about the Demona birthing retreat and that it could actually work. She thought that was stupid. So I'm like, what? I mean, some people are saying did Ragabi just work for the competition? I mean, clearly she didn't do a great job with the reintegration because that shit didn't really work very well at all. So I'm very
or
curious
did
to
it?
know. Yeah.
Or did it? Has she been successful with the reintegration? I know they made a point to say that Petey was the first to get reintegration sickness.
Yeah. But it seemed
So
like Petey was more reintegrated than Mark, and it seemed like the flooding the chip that she did that for the first time with Mark. So I don't know. I'm
yeah,
confused.
it does seem like that. And it seems just the way she was looking at Mark is not the way I want somebody that's doing brain surgery to look at me. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, and it was like she knew she was killing him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
and sh
think she
it's like
was
she
killing him.
didn't care. I don't think she cared that she killed Petey.
No, she didn't care at all. She was like, well, if he would have listened to me,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? She didn't say, oh my goodness, that's so terrible. I understand that you two were friends and he found you, like, how did Petey know who Mark was?
Yeah. Yeah, because he had all the internal memories. I mean, he's quoting Irving saying what's for dinner at the diner in season 1. Like, he seemed way more reintegrated.
Yeah. How did he know how to make that map? I
Yeah.
think Petey was able to talk to his innie like right in the mirror.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think he
He
was.
saw his innie in the mirror and looked at him. They were like looking at each other, like reacting to each other.
Yeah.
If they would have started talking, like, you know, that would have been fucking dope if they would have did that. Do
You know what
you
I was hoping? I was hoping
go ahead?
that when Mark was talking to Mark, like when Outie Mark and Edie Mark were having, like, I think you said, like, a FaceTime, as close to a FaceTime as possible. I
A
was really
Snapchat.
hope Yeah, Snapchat. They were Snapchatting. I was really hoping that Outie Mark would be like, "Yo, I talked to Petey. I saw Petey. Like, Petey's brain exploded. Like, not for reintegration, but like Lumen killed your friend. They killed Petey." I was really hoping he would bring Petey up one more time as a way to get Innie Mark to help out with the plan. Because Innie Mark's like getting all scared about the plan, or he doesn't want to do it. He's reluctant. I was just really hoping Outie Mark's like, look, I got a visit from Petey. Petey reintegrated. Maybe leave out the fact that he started like bleeding out in a convenience store, but almost using that connection with Petey, because Innie Mark still doesn't know what happened to his best friend. He just disappeared one day.
I think, all right, so here we are. We live and direct. Live on the set. We like an hour and 20 minutes in. Live and direct, though. I gotta talk about this. I know Britt Lauer has confirmed, and I use the term lightly, that it was not Helena in the finale. Do you believe that?
I do. I think it was Helly. Personally, I do.
Okay. Now I have major pushback for that.
Okay, let's hear it.
And it's almost like it's not uncommon for an actor to lie. This has
Right,
happened before.
totally.
As a matter of fact, I can point one out right now. Ben Stiller lied about the
Mm.
blue balloons. He said that it
Oh.
was going to be very important to the finale.
Mm.
Let's
But
go
it
back.
wasn't.
If anybody is in the chat and you heard that, what I heard, it's somebody posted it in my Discord as well. One of the mods, please drop the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, you gotta hop in the Discord. We cook in the Discord, and we'll be definitely just talking about Severance until it comes back for sure. I'm sure like somebody will say something in there when it gets real off the off season, right? However,
Right.
Ben Stiller, and I went and I heard it myself, and he said that the blue balloons were going to be really important to to the season finale.
Mm.
Now,
Oh, wow.
here's the thing. When they brought out the choreography and merriment, I thought I was going to see a shitload of like blue balloons fall down. I really did. We got no blue balloons. So
They
that
never
was a
paid
lie.
off.
It never
Yeah.
paid off. And he said it would. He said it
Mm.
would. And I don't see anything that could have connected to the blue balloons, even on the
Not at all.
esoteric level. Like what? What could possibly be the blue balloons?
They're
Nothing
in the
about the
intro, but that's it. I can't see any connections.
he said that they were going to be important to the finale. So that was a lie,
Yeah.
right? And if that was a lie, then Helly could be Helena. And
Okay.
now here's the reason why. This person is gone from somebody who is saying that this is fucked up what you're doing to the innie. I'm willing to cut my fingers off, hang
Mhm.
myself in the elevator. You know what I'm saying? To
Yeah.
then turning around and saying they give us half a life and think we're not gonna fight for it, right?
Right.
And then says, right, Milchick?
Mm.
She's like, they give us half a life and think we're not gonna fight for it, right, Milchick?
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
what? Is she signaling him like, yo, I'm here, I'm down here now? I'm down here. This is not And that's when her fighting with him stopped. That's when the fighting stopped. That's when she
Mm,
really wasn't about keeping that machine up there no more. She was trying to like talk and convince the C&M to calm down and not leave and whatnot. Don't
mm,
leave, you
mhm,
know. So what was that about? What Okay, so then also when she's sitting there with Mark, she says, "I'm her,"
mhm. Yeah,
right? But she
yeah.
explicitly said before when she first came back, she was like, "Look, I'm not her."
Yeah, 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 and like, "Oh, she just dresses me like a baby or something."
All of
Like,
that
she
right
kind of
there.
put her as this other person.
Right. She's like, "I'm not her."
Yeah.
And she said that like she's like, "I want my own memory." How come she's
Mhm.
had such a change of heart? How come she's had such a change in her worldview? What has
Yeah,
happened to her? Now I understand Mark having a change of heart because of what Devin said and
right.
Devin's answer. You know what I'm saying? He was like, "Well, what
Yeah.
happens to us?" And she's like, "Well, what do you mean?"
Exactly.
Like, I'm like, yeah,
She
fuck
kinda
you.
fucked up.
Like, I'm not helping y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm
Yeah.
definitely not helping you now. Like, you're not even sympathetic to what's going on with us down there. But Helly would have been like, yo, this is not a life that we need to even worry about. Fuck this life. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? They're like, this is now she's had such a change in her worldview. It just doesn't seem like Helly. And Helly to me strikes me as somebody that that's the only thing that Helena got right when she was faking to be Helly.
Yeah.
Helly would have tried to help her find Gemma, him find Gemma. That I
So,
believe.
who do you think made the decision to change Helly to Helena? Like, because James doesn't like Helena, he
I
likes
think it was her
Helly.
decision.
It was her decision. So she was changed me back and like told them to
Let's
do the
look at the
glass go
course of
back again.
events. Let's look at the course of events. She hangs herself. Days later, days go by after that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Cobell's not in trouble, and then all of a sudden they having the gala and they decide to fire her right before the gala starts and all this crap, right?
Yeah.
Boom. He- the whole Helly thing happens where she's on stage trying to expose Lumen, and then they stop the Glasgow block protocol. I mean, not the Glasgow. They stop the OTC,
Right.
and then she's standing by the window, looking out the window, rubbing her neck.
Yeah.
She's thinking to herself, in my opinion, do I really want to give this person control of my body again?
Yeah. Yeah.
She tells Milchick, let Kier guide your hand. And what does he do? He tries to protect her by firing the crew, keeping Mark, and going and getting a replacement crew.
Yeah.
Boom. The replacement crew doesn't work. Mark somehow gets to the board. He speaks to them, and they speak to Natalie.
Mm.
Natalie tells Hodor, evil Hodor, that the board wants to appease Mark, bring him
Yeah.
back, right? So Helena, evil Hodor, and Milchick are sitting there listening to the cassette tape of Mark talking to the board, right?
Right.
That's when the decision was made. We're going to
Yeah.
send you down there incognito.
Yeah. 100%.
Right then.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna rehire Irv, we're gonna rehire Dylan, and you're just gonna go down there under the Glasgow block.
Yeah.
Simple, you know. And Helly was probably even deeper with Milchick on the plan because Milchick totally set it up for
For
Helly to
sure.
get Mark alone so that she could
Yeah.
have sex with Mark.
Right.
He totally set that up for her
Yeah. At the
because he
Orpo.
knew at the Ortbo. He set
Yeah.
the Ortbo up there because look, her making fun of Dieter was the cue for Milchick to
Yeah.
leave. After that, he's like, "Oh, y'all want to be funny? I'm gonna throw the marshmallows away. That's gonna force you
Right.
into your tent. The marshmallows is going. Y'all
Party's
ain't
over.
sitting out. Party's over. go to your tents. Okay,
Yeah.
now she can go ahead and make her move. Bang. She withholds that information from Hodor when she says they're animals.
Yeah.
Because how you just marshmallows with an animal,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
Milchick know you did though.
Right.
So what, there's like a little journey right there. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think all of that is 100% valid. Like that was Helena, and that was part of, I think, the plan. To Helena would come in and would sway Mark, woo him with sex and stuff to get him to forget about going and trying to rally up the innies and find Gemma. So I 100% believe in that, like, first half of the season Glasgow block. But if I look at one, I just don't think they would do it again. And the reason why I think it was Helly is, I think in the last episode there were parts of the conversation that we didn't see, and maybe we'll see it in another flashback or another episode.
Where they
But
had a
when
change
Jaime
of
is
heart about
leaving
their
and
life.
Helly says, "What do you want from me?" And he
Ah,
doesn't answer. Like, we don't know if they actually ended up talking, or they said something else, or if she and Mark said something else. I think that this season did a lot about love and like the power of love. And like season 1
uh-huh.
was them being children, season 2 was like them being adolescents and finding their first love, having sex for the first time. And you see it with Dylan and his wife, and him willing to like off himself because he can't get the girl. And I think you see this connection between Mark and Helly, and it is love, and it is real to him, and it is real to her. And I see it as Mark did something for his own autonomy, and so did Helly. Like, for this whole time, Helly's been like,
Ah,
let's take down Lumen. Like, screw them. We need to take them down. And I think once they realized that the balance of power shifted on the severed floor, that there are so many more people. There's this whole CNM department with weapons, with trombones that can wound Milchick, and it's up against them, and they win they have like numbers on their side. I think she and Mark agreed to meet at the equator being where two halves come together, the inside world and the outside world. And I think this was for Mark to choose and for Helly to choose just them, just to be selfish in that moment. So that's why I think it was Helly. I know she gave that weird smile, but I believe that it's now the innies taking over. For now, they hold the floor, and they got Gemma out. And maybe that was Mark's part of the bargain. Maybe he's like, I'm gonna do this for my Audi, I'll do this for Gemma, I'll get her out, but then I want that time with Helly.
okay, okay. Now, this little scene right here that I was just playing, right?
Yeah.
This is this scene right here is, I believe, from episode 3. Yeah,
Yeah, I think
episode
3.
3. And they're looking for the goat room pretty much. And what she's
Yeah.
holding in her hand is one of Gemma's missing posters, and she's folded it up like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, this is where he's telling her his plan. Okay. Like, yes, I'm gonna get Gemma, we're gonna get her up here, and then we're gonna take her to that hallway, that staircase hallway,
Yeah.
and my Audi is gonna know what to do from there. Because he's pretty much saying he's gonna go out the door with her, right?
Yeah, that's his
Okay.
plan. Yeah.
Right. So that was his plan. And that was pretty much Cobell's plan, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, you just come on, bring her on up here and get out of there. And he would have been down and he would have been on board with that until Devin is like, yeah, we're gonna take down Lumen. And we're gonna, if we can prove that they kidnapped her and they still have her down there, we're gonna stop them. And then he's
Yeah.
like, well, what happens to us? And she's like, what do you mean? And that was like the most out of touch part, right? But
Right.
this scene right here is him describing to Helly what that plan is. Episodes
Yeah.
before Cold Harbor, right? And she goes and she says to him, oh, you've got it all figured out. Yes, you got it all
Mhm.
figured out. You know what's going on. I think that was Helly at the other end of the hallway, seeing and able to see that
Oh,
he
'cause she
did
knew that
not,
that was his plan?
right. And that
Mm.
because like, you know, she got to see that he didn't go forward with the plan, that he helped Gemma get out, but he came
Mm.
back to her. And
Mm.
I think that Helly is the one that is able to relish in that. And I
Mm.
think that the lie about the balloons is synonymous with the lie about Helen.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Now, let me ask you this.
totally.
Before you heard her confirm it, did you think it was Helly?
Yes. Yeah, always thought it was Helly.
Okay.
In the last episode, I did. I always thought it was Helly, and I think that there might be this longer term thing at play. Like, they technically have the CEO trapped in some little room, and if she knows that he likes her and wants her to take over, that she has Kier in her. I don't know. I think they saw the power dynamic shift and they chose each other, because everything that's happening here is like before they slept together. And I think it's like this, it really is this like Romeo and Juliet type of star-crossed lovers love of like, I'm going out with you, like this. And I think it's like before it's the full like self-actualization of any autonomy of being able to like choose each other, choose themselves, etc.
Do you think at some point, and I'm not going to say, but do you think at some point Helena is going to side with her any?
I think so. I think they're setting it. I think Helena can be redeemed. Um, Especially if, like, I don't know, did she know that Irv was gonna get away? Like, did she arrange that with Bert when she's saying, like, we're taking care of Mr. Bate, like we're taking care of Irving? I would like to see her redeemed. I hope so, because I think they're brewing this weird divide between her and her dad.
Ah, ah, yeah, yeah. And she's
Because you kind of also
definitely
have to
not.
wonder, why did Helena get severed in the first place? Like, if Jane were my dad, I would get severed. Like, he's creepy. I would want to block out as much of my time with him as possible.
But
So
now he's coming. Now he's fucking with the any too. So it's like
yeah,
you can't get away from him.
I know. She's
You're
like,
just
God,
putting
you're
someone
fucking
else
weird.
through. You're just putting someone else through it now. Because like he's coming down there like, oh my goodness, this guy is a mess. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about that in a minute. We got a couple super chats here. We got Elizabeth D in the building. Thank you for your generosity, sis. And she says, what if everyone in Kier agreed to having their memories spatially dictated before moving to Kier? Those agreements could have been recorded anywhere. I'm looking at the top of the water tower antenna. Wow, that's what I'm saying. Are they gonna really dig into possibilities of what these severance chips are actually able to do? Like, it seems like they're
Mm.
really gonna dig further for like more aspects of what this chip can do. Because that was a total plot twist. Like, I said it in my video. I was like, once upon a time, if you described this show to somebody, you said something about you being able to separate your work and home life. But now we've learned that they're making like multiple innies. Like you can't even explain this shit to somebody. You just got to tell them to watch it. It's like they
Right.
totally flipped that premise up on its head. What do you think about that? Do you what do you think about the possibilities of what could be done with the severance chip? Thank you again, Elizabeth, for that.
Yeah, I mean, especially with that comment about it being an antenna and, with James Egan at the end of season 1 saying like the grand vision is a chip in everyone's brain. I really wonder if it is some sort of like grand plan for mind control or for like warrior beehive mode of getting these people into Lumen, but having chips in their brains that can be controlled from some sort of cloud. And it's not the physical thing. It's like, it's actually being able to be controlled remotely. I love that idea. Like, I hope they expand on that in season 3 so we can talk about it more.
Yeah, I agree with that. We got another super chat from Scared Crows. Thank you very much, Scared Crows, for your generosity. Says, well done to my new dream team.
Hey.
Oh, thank you. That's fire. That's definitely fire. We definitely up here cooking for sure. Like, all right, so James Egan, aka the old dirty bastard. He likes his eggs raw.
Ugh.
He's been siring in the shadows. He's got his mixtape coming out. You know what I'm saying? Spring of 2026, dropping a
Yeah.
mixtape. You know what I'm saying? I said last night that he looks like a white John Witherspoon. Are you familiar with John
No, I
Witherspoon?
need to look that up.
The look it up first, and he's the father from Friday.
Oh, yeah. I could see it. I could see it for sure.
You cannot tell me that this dude does not look like John Witherspoon. Like
Yeah.
ever since Fathead Muppet, I've been saying that. Like it's
That's so
yo,
funny.
Fathead Muppet is hilarious. I got the Fathead Muppet shirts. They're
That's
being
so funny.
made. We're getting the site up and all of that stuff, and we're gonna have the Fathead Muppet shirts. We're gonna have the They're
Love
Not
it.
Ready shirts with the goat on them. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
hell
Like
yeah.
Apple Fire shirts coming. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, that
yes. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
someone just I saw in the chat I think Ruby said like or no someone said about it the antenna thing tying into the Lexington letter, which is really interesting to me. Like what if their chip had already been programmed to be able to like kind of remote control, and that is still kind of a test version of something that they want to do, that they had a driver, someone with the explosives, and it was like they press a button, there was an antenna, it was remotely, and that's what caused the Dorner truck explosion.
Yo, that is crazy. That's another good theory right there.
Kind of ties it in a way I wasn't able to make that connection before, but I can see it now for sure.
And okay, so we've not seen Lumen kill anyone yet.
Yeah,
What are your thoughts on that? We've only seen Ragabi and Mark kill someone.
that's true.
Ragabi killed 2 people.
Yeah. Other
Ragabi,
than Peg. But yeah, we haven't seen anyone like
well, we
on
haven't seen.
air.
We don't. We just know that she ended up dead. We don't know that they killed her. It
Yeah.
said it was an accident.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we can. I would say that yeah, they probably had something to do with it. But I just
Yeah.
think it's strange in a show like this, we haven't seen them actually bust a grape in a fruit salad.
I mean, Evil Hodor was getting close. He was like strangling Mark within an inch of his
Oh
life,
yeah,
but
he
he
was
never
trying to
did it.
body Mark. He was definitely trying to body Mark, and he was going to put the goat lady down, Lauren.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
know
He
what I
was
mean?
beating the shit
Brienne of
out of her.
Tarth. Yeah, that was a refreshing scene for Severance.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
I mean,
actually
the
got to see
only
some action.
yeah, I mean, the fact that, like, they cast Gwendolyn Christie, like, she's, like, the only one in that role who I'd be like, "Alright, I could believe that you could get a few punches in on him. Like, you're a badass." I mean, if it
Yeah,
were Helly, I don't think Helly could beat up Evil Hodor unless she, like, knows some
nah,
kung fu.
nah, and even then, like she's gonna have a problem. Do you see the way he punched Mark?
Yeah, he was, like, whipping him around like a little rag
Yeah,
doll.
like he hit him like one of like a Mike Tyson he had hit him with like a straight up he didn't like wear that thing back. He didn't wind it up or nothing. He took it straight from the hip, straight to his nose, flap. Like he that fight scene was crazy. But I
Yeah.
gotta say this: a woman that large, she's beautiful, by the way, and she
Yeah.
is so adorable. And hearing her talk at Paley Fest was amazing.
Oh,
She talked
nice.
about how she was such a fan of season 1, and she like lost her shit when they called her for season 2.
Wow.
And I mean, yo. However, um, I lost my train of thought. What I was going to say. Oh yeah, a woman that large, kneeing you in the groin 3 times. I don't give a damn how big you is.
I feel like that would put you down, like, you'd be
That's
on the
gonna,
floor.
yeah. I'm surprised that he did as much as he did after those licks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like for real.
Honestly.
Because she
Honestly.
that fight scene was so well choreographed. I thought it was Yin Wu Ping and his sons.
Yeah.
They're the ones who did the
Yeah,
Matrix, by the way.
unless yeah, unless he's on some, like, Theon Greyjoy shit and he doesn't have anything there,
Yeah,
then I
you know
don't
what
know
I'm
how I
saying?
couldn't put him down.
Which would even let the evil Hodor joke pay off even more.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? He's already fighting Brienne of Tarth, and then he holds the
yeah,
door. Like that was
love the
crazy.
crossover.
That joke is like that is I'm still
You called
bugging
it.
off that.
Yeah,
Like
you called it all.
I'm still bugging off of that right there. If I didn't say anything else that was right, Evil Hodor was definitely Evil Hodor.
That
And
was
it's
gold. Like that is goated for this season for sure.
right, and it's all yeah, no doubt. Like it's like one of those kind of things. Evil Hodor held the door open, and Hodor held the door closed. It's so crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And like both things like kind of killed them in a way, or it was like a result of
Mhm.
the death.
Yes, both things was about their death. Well, look, Evil Hodor died and held the door, and Hodor held the door closed and then died.
Mhm.
Everything is so crazy. It's so symmetrical. You know, somebody just posted that. Yep, symmetrical. Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
symmetrical. It's crazy. Like I'm like, wow, I had no idea. I wonder if they did that on purpose and I just like called him that just out of the blue, like you know what I'm saying? I
I
don't
think
know.
you're
I
on
was
I think you're
tapped in.
plugged into the ether because
Yeah, I was
I like
tapped
once
in.
you said it, it made sense, but I would never look at him and be like, "Oh, that's evil Hodor." But once you said it, I'm like, "Yeah, that's evil Hodor. Of course it is."
And it worked so well. Some people were telling me they hated, absolutely hated, and they said I unsubscribed because you kept saying Evil Hodor.
What?
And I was like, really? I was like, well, why'd you
People
even
people were
comment?
coming to my videos and saying commenting evil Hodor because of your name for him. So I feel like that got around the internet. Like
Yeah.
you were like Elizabeth says, you were in that Akashic record type shit. You were plugged in.
Yo, no, shout out to I see that. Yeah, shout out to that. Yo, no, right at Paley Fest when he came out, I was trying to scream Evil Hodor. I was in the audience screaming Evil Hodor from like the fourth row. Yo, word up. I'm out there. Yo, we had a real good time out there. And he was cool too. He was cool. All of them were really cool. Like I was oh my goodness. Dylan actually brought some snacks in. What
Oh
is
wow,
it?
that's on brand for him.
Yo, he had snacks. He pulled them out, ate a couple and everything. He did a little advertisement for him. It was hilarious. Like, yo, Britt wore this outfit that was so dope. She had like it was so futuristic, but it was just it was old futuristic. It was vintage. It
Ooh.
was everything in one. Like fire ass outfit. And then she had wore one again like the next day. I seen in an article where they had another event and she wore another one very similar to it. Yeah, she was fire. Adam Scott's funny as hell. Like, you know what I'm saying? Patricia
Yeah.
Arquette, she is a master at what she
She's on
does.
another level.
She's
She's
on a whole nother
amazing.
level. You know, the only two people they didn't have was well, they had didn't have three people there. They didn't have Natalie or Bert and Irv.
Aw, I love
I wish
Natalie.
I really wish they would have been there. I really wish Irv and Bert would have been there. I hope do you think that we're gonna get any resolution for them?
I feel like we have to because we don't know who Irving was talking to on the phone. We don't know. And when I feel like there's still so much about Bert we don't know about and Fields and everything. And yeah, I feel like we have to get more on them. We have to.
So let me ask you this. So Bert let Irv go. But
Yeah.
the crazy part is that just Irv just willingly went with him and took his dog too.
I know. See, I feel like for someone who like wants to fight and wants to beat Lumen, I'm like, dude, come on. Anytime Christopher Walken is in your living room saying, "Let's go for a ride," you don't go. Like, don't get in the car. Like that
No,
guy, he was
if
coming
you gonna kill me, you're
across
gonna have to
creepy
kill
as
me
hell.
right here.
Yeah, yeah. I was very surprised that he just was like, "Okay, and are you gonna kill me now?" Like, I thought Irving had a little more will to live than that, but maybe he's like, "Well, if the one person who's ever loved me, who I've ever loved, is gonna kill me, then there's like literally no hope for me in the
All right,
world."
so you're knocking on the door of what my questions were gonna be. Okay, so is Irv reintegrated then? Because we know he's severed, but is he
Yeah,
reintegrated? Because how does he know about the
yeah,
love? And how does he feel this love for a guy that clearly uh lured you to his crib so somebody can go through your shit? Like, what's going on? Did you not know that they went through your shit? Like, what's happening here?
yeah.
What is all of these things going on? And then how do you have this affection for this guy who you know just came into your crib in the morning Like, what is this? And then when exactly did Bert start having feelings for her? Like, that
And
doesn't make
ho
any sense.
and how does Irving know about the testing floor? Like, in general, I feel like, how does he know? Like, why does he paint it? Why does he wanna give that message to his innie? I feel like there's so many mysteries there.
Yeah, they just left those on the table.
Yeah. I think I don't know if he's reintegrated in the sense that Ragabi reintegrated him. I think that he's maybe experimenting with like a different form of reintegration. Because I always thought that he was talking to Ragabi on the phone and Ragabi was mad at him because he didn't want to reintegrate, but clearly he's trying to send his a message to his innie in another way by kind of manipulating his circadian rhythm and painting the same thing over and over. So I don't know if he's just a lone wolf or he has backup and collaborators trying to do some sort of alternate non-basement brain surgery version of reintegration.
Okay, so that kind of brings me to a good thing that something real dope that Joy said in the Discord last night. My apologies to everybody. I had totally forgot about it. Um I did like a voice chat right after my live stream last night, and I just failed to say like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna be in the voice chat in Discord like soon as I get off of here." But Joy came in there and she said something that was so crazy and so dope that I definitely have to give her credit for that. And also, I'm going to explore that in the video. You might want to think about
Mm,
this as well. Is Does Severance kind of like wear off and lose some of its effect as time goes on? Because how Helly was talking about how she started trying to remember more places in the world other than Delaware, and she was able
mm,
to map out Zimbabwe, the equator, and things of that nature. She said a couple other things that were real dope, and Mickey B added something really dope as well onto it as well. But what do you think about like the effects of Severance and how much um can actually seep through from outie to innie,
yeah.
especially being that Milchick told Mark that his his innie has found love and those feelings will make its way to Mark. So
Yeah.
what are we talking about here when we're talking about severance berries? I'm one right now. I'm one of the theorists. I do not believe in the severance berry. And I think
Mm,
that Cobell knows it, and that
yeah.
is why we seen her doing what she do. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I do think that any kind of extreme thing it throws everything off. Like we know that when Dylan goes to the break room and they have to recite that atonement thing, he says he hears like a kid like a crying noise. And when Helly goes in there to have to recite that atonement poem, that she hears like a grumbling old man. And in my opinion, that's like the outside world seeping in. The grumbly old man is her creepy dad. The crying that Dylan hears is the child. And so if you think about it, these innies, most of the day, they're just doing this mundane work. Everything is kind of drab and blah. And so that's probably the most neutral territory for it not to bleed in. But anytime, if you don't get a good night's sleep, if maybe you're hungover, if you're feeling stressed or under distress, or maybe you're feeling really in
If you're
love.
crying in your car before you go in,
Exactly, like these emotional not even extremes, but just heighten anytime, like, the tempers get more heightened, I think it erodes that barrier, at least it lets
ooh,
things through, and then also, why do the wellness sessions center around telling you facts about your outie? Like, is that to get you to like, is that to
it
get are
tamed the
they just
tempers a little
lies?
bit.
Yeah,
It's to
yeah,
tame the
like, to
tempers because it's
calm you
something that
down.
the innies definitely want to know more about their outie.
Yeah,
And look at the
yeah.
way Mark, Innie and outie were looking at each other as they were seeing each other in that recording. Like, that was fire. The first initial look at each other. First of all, I want to give a hip hop shout out real quick to Big Hack. He said, "Now that we found love." Heavy D reference. I caught it. I heard it when I said that. Milchick said that his innie has found love, and Big Hack came through with the heavy D reference. Every time when I gotta say this, Big Hack. When Milchick said that, that's the first thing I started thinking in my head. Now that we found love, I was like, yo. And then you come in here, yo, you are a true hip hop head. Shout out to that, yo. That was hilarious. I couldn't laugh because Gab was talking. You know what I'm saying? But yo, he came. Am I right? Yeah, he know it. That shit was funny. I wanted to laugh though. Yeah, this chat be having me messed up. If I bust out laughing while you talking, yo,
It's
charge it
okay.
to
Y'all are smart, and you guys
blame
are
these
making me laugh
guys
too.
because we, especially Big Heck, because I could say the most random thing and he'll throw one out there real quick and have me rolling in the middle of my thought, yo.
You
But
guys
this,
are sharp.
yo, this chat, this chat makes me dope, yo, for real. In my comment section, the chat, the live chat, it makes my videos better because it makes me want to jump out there and think about what we're looking at and bring it back to you guys and show you. You know what I'm saying? And
Totally.
that's why I think, oh yes, indeed. Rest in peace to the brother Heavy D. I met the brother one time in life. I was a real young kid. And yeah, shout out to that. He was definitely one of my favorite, actually. He was nice with the rhymes. And in my opinion, here's an unpopular opinion. I'm just getting off to a little bit of hip hop discussion real quick. Gab, bear with
Nothing
me,
wrong
right?
with that.
Okay, right? Okay. You cannot tell me that Biggie didn't take Hev's whole style. Like Big definitely took Heavy's whole style. Like the overweight lover. Yes, rest in peace to the overweight lover. And so Biggie took that whole overweight lover style, even the rhyming style. You know what I'm saying? If you go listen to um Heavy D's last album, like it's all Big type shit. Like Big totally bit that vibe and the whole nine. Like, yeah. What's your hip hop? Like you fuck with hip hop?
I love hip hop. Yeah, I love hip
Okay.
hop.
Okay. What's your first hip hop experience?
Okay, this is so white of me, but it's like my dad really loved Eminem when I was growing up.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and Dr. Dre and like that era, Snoop Dogg, like those people. And I think like my dad was definitely not listening to the Rolling Stones or the Beatles. Like he was just this like white dude from the Midwest who got on that hip hop train when no one else was listening to it, like back like early. I mean, he loved like all the preceding stuff like Luther Vandross and stuff, but like the stuff that came before hip hop. But he bought me like a clean Eminem Marshall Mathers LP censored when I was 8. And then I'm like, I need to know more about this hip hop stuff. And then from there, I went back, I went forward, I went everything. But yeah, Eminem was definitely like my first exposure to hip
Okay.
hop. And then that made me
Okay.
want to go back with
That's
everything.
fire. That's actually a really good introduction to hip hop for that time period. Because that's when
Yeah.
shit started really to become like more bubblegum. And at least we
Yeah.
had like spitters out there like Eminem, who was really like a barsmith. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
shout out to that.
A linguist. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Like I have to say my very first hip hop experience was, and I had heard hip hop, but I'm saying like my first like record that I dialed into, and this is crazy, is a Cool G rap record. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And when I heard like the way that this guy was putting these words together, and he had a speech impediment, and like Cool G rap had like a crazy lisp, and I was hearing how he was putting these words together, and it just kind of changed the way I thought. I was like,
Yeah.
yo, I have to do this. This has to
Yeah.
be something that I have to be doing with myself. Like I I have to get, and because I have a speech impediment, I stutter. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, you know, and it used to be really bad when I was little. And the moment that I started rapping, my stuttering went away. It
Oh, wow,
started
that's so cool.
Yeah, it started going away gradually, and by the time I was 10 years old, I wasn't really stuttering like that. I learned how to speak with a rhythm, and so that I don't have to stutter. Because, like, if you notice, I kind of speak with a rhythm where I have these like pauses and breaks and
Mm,
stuff like that, and
there's a little
I might
cadence to it.
a cadence, like something I say, I might start off with It might have 8 syllables with the first thing I say. I'll pause and then say another 8 syllables. And I'm not doing that on purpose. It's just the way I speak. You know what I'm saying?
Love it.
It's just the way I can get it out without being like, I used to stutter to the
That's such
point
a
where
cool
it would hurt my
story.
throat. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
So that's why I
Yeah.
love hip hop, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's something with, like, the language. I mean, you love symbolism and just, like, the way things come together. I saw some people shouting out Sugar Hill Gang in the chat, which, like, definitely was an early exposure for me. And then I think there's just something about, like, the cadence, the talking, the storytelling. Like, I've always been a writer storyteller that, I don't know, hip hop did it for me in, like, a very clever and fun way. So I love the origin story of people finding their way into hip hop. I think that's so cool that that helped you as well with the way you speak.
Yeah, hip hop is one of the most complex music forms actually when it comes to like written word because you're
Yeah.
hearing about like it has 16 bars where most songs have 8 bars. Then 16 bar verses. They've been making songs a lot shorter lately because you have like social media where people are consuming music in shorter bursts and shorter like 30 minutes and a minute long videos and stuff. So songs are
Yeah.
getting shorter to accommodate that. However, like hip hop is the longest spoken word art form and it
Mhm.
tells you about this person's experience from the beginning to the very end. And it uses more words than any other art form of music. And
Yeah.
I respect it for that, you know, at many different levels, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember my dad telling me, like, Rapper's Delight was like, "This is the longest rap song ever invented," and I'm like, "How can a song be 16 minutes? Like, that's not a song." He's like, "I mean, you can kinda do whatever you want in hip hop if you gotta tell a story, if it takes that long, if you got 3 people on the mic telling their part of the story, then why not make it 60 minutes long?"
Yeah, Okay, so enough with the hip hop. Let's talk Severance a little something.
Back to
I
Severance.
have I have a problem with Miss Wong. What was that even about?
It
Was
sort of
that just to, you know, what like you could take Miss Wong out of the whole show
Yeah.
and nothing changes.
Mhm.
What was she there for? What was this?
The only thing that I can think of, because I was like, "Ooh, Miss Wong and the Miss Wong reveal, it's gonna be one of the big things of the season." I thought it was gonna be, like, a huge reveal. I honestly think it just sure served to show us how Lumen brings people into their world and Harmony Cobell, because I think, like, once we learned that
Mm,
Harmony Cobell was a Wintertide fellow, it would have been harder for us to understand what that meant until I feel like we saw Miss Huang. And maybe Milchick was also a Wintertide fellow. And these are how these people, like, I mean, we know they don't care about child labor and they're very pro child labor. But that was the only thing that it did for me, was it created that parallel to what like I could see Harmony Cobell in like her skirt and tie walking around at 12 years old figuring stuff out. So that, yeah, that was like the only payoff for me, was it helped me understand and contextualize Cobell's upbringing and maybe even Milchick, how Milchick got his start at Lumen as well.
right, to kind of open the eyes on actual like young students of these Lumen funded institutions and
Yeah.
to actually show us one in the process and show them like they've been trained well enough at a young age to actually take management positions on the severed floor and to dive into these things. We see that they've all had some sort of first aid treatment and
Yeah.
technical treatment and probably combat training. You know what I mean? All these different they've had all of these different levels of being treated to understanding different professions almost. Like
Right.
Grainer was a hit dude or a security, I should say, but he also was able to like program and download the chip and scan the chip and find out who might have been. He said it led back to Ragabi and her terminal where she worked
Yeah.
at, whatever. So that kind of confirms that she did work for Lumen. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I hope there turns out to be more, and I think like kind of one of the only payoffs is I think it was, yeah, in episode 9 when Helly kind of goes down and taunts Milchick and is like, "Oh, they'll just replace you and everyone's just like a, kind of like Cobell and now you and everyone's just a cog in this machine." So I think it did in a way because, Milchick took over Cobell's job and even Miss Wong was like maybe ratting out Milchick about how replaceable people are within this system. And I think it's just that helped us develop Milchick a little bit more as well, having that kind of friction there with her.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that. Totally, like 100%. You've enlightened me on like why we had her there, because um, aside from like her maybe have been snitching on Milchick, she definitely gives Milchick the same kind of contention feel that he gave Cobell. Like
Yeah.
we kind of see like a baby Milchick out of her, kind of. But she
Yeah.
was a little bit more callous with it. She said things like I'm not your friend. Like, let's make that clear right here. When she was in the kitchenette with the people there, she made it very clear, like, yo, I'm not your friend. Yo, like that right there was cold. That right
Yeah.
there was crazy for me. I
And
said,
even like you
wow.
shouldn't let them have a bereavement because then they think they're people. Like, damn girl, okay. Uh
Right.
yeah.
Right. But then she had a change of heart when Milchick done her dirty, and which was crazy to me. We got a super chat from Deuce Falco. Thank you so much for your generosity, fam. And Deuce says, appreciate these talk. Keep it up, y'all. Definitely. We got to do one of these again.
Hell
Hey,
yeah.
can I slide through your channel on a live one time?
Hell yeah, please. Everyone's been asking about you. I know we got some people from my Patreon over here, so absolutely you got to come on.
Yo, can I get one of my mods to like drop Gab's link in the chat? We need people. If you're not up on Gab, you definitely have to get down with Miscellaneous Gab for sure. Like, go check out her content. She's so dope. She brings a great perspective to the show. She's definitely one that is tapped in and in tune with what's going on. She's not missing a beat. She's straight coming with heat. So you
Oh,
gotta go
thank
over to
you.
her channel so we all can meet. You feel me? Let's go. Let's
Thank you
go.
guys. Thanks for the support. You guys are awesome.
Let's go.
It's a
Thank,
dream come
thank
true to
you.
talk to you guys on here.
Yes, it is real dope. Like I definitely have to come over there and talk with your audience as well, because I know that this Severance show has put together so many different people with great minds and the way people think and everything. And I want to thank you again, Deuce Falco, for your generous donation to the channel. We definitely will keep it up, keep it going, and keep it on that. Are you going to be doing a lot of Severance content throughout the off season?
Yeah, definitely. I can't let it go. I'm going to go rewatch season 1 and 2 and do character deep dives. So rather than like just rewatch season 1 and review each episode, my plan is to kind of bring us up to speed with each character's journey and also do a lot of theorizing. So I'll be making a ton more Severance content. And once I go back and rewatch season 1 and season 2 and kind of put everything together, we'll be having a lot more chats about it. I just need the time to like deep dive, write all my scripts about each character and make each like I'm gonna have a Helly deep dive, a Mark deep dive, an Irving deep dive, everything for all the main characters.
Yes, I'm thinking about doing some of that as well. And
Awesome.
you're right. You said I'm not gonna let it go. It's one of those kind of shows that you can't let go. It's like I don't care what show I'm gonna be covering. I'm definitely gonna catch a couple rewatches before that season 3 comes out. You gotta
Right.
believe it.
Well, especially you are like you catch things that nobody else does on the esoteric stuff. So I would love to see more of that coming from you on like the season 1 and the tie-ins. And I learned so much through all the rabbit holes you go down. So for sure I'll be here to
Oh,
watch
thank
all
you
that.
much. Thank you. And I will, and I'll keep going because like we definitely have to talk about that. I'm trying to get back, and I saw The Last of Us. I was like watching that every week last year or last
Yeah.
season. And I'm gonna rewatch that and get back in tune with that. I really want to cover that. I actually saw some Severance, um, some Severance symbology. Okay, I do. Ooh,
Mm.
should I bring this out right now? Oh man, should I do it? No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. You're
Is it a
gonna. You,
secret?
my next video, I'll definitely put it in there. Like at the end of the
Okay.
video, I'm gonna make a Last of Us Severance connection, and
Ooh, okay, I'm so
it's
excited.
minimal, but it's gonna dig into some different layers. And
Okay.
I'll just say this. I can point it out to this. I'll say this. Irv's drawing. That's all I'm really
Okay.
gonna
That's the
say.
hint. That's the hint.
That's the hit. I'm gonna put it in my next Severance video, which should be coming out soon. I'm gonna sit down and get down and chop it up. I want to get my voice better. So after my voice gets better, I'll do the voiceover, but I'll have it ready. I'll have it
Is your
ready.
next video going to be like the just a season review or kind of another deep dive into the finale?
Like okay, of what Severance?
Or yeah, your next video, is that like just a Severance season 2 as a whole or just kind of more
We're going
from the
to cook.
finale?
We're going to cook, and there are going to be elements from season one in there for sure.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
one thing that Severance season two did very well was they connected it to things that we saw in season one,
For
and they
sure.
didn't skip a beat. Like there's
Yeah.
some things that they kind of abandoned and we missed a little bit, but I actually, with the goat situation, I'd actually be satisfied if they were just like no more than just sacrificial animals for this whatever ritual that was supposed to be.
Yeah. I'm
And
pretty
I was
satisfied with how the
yeah,
goats ended up, honestly.
yeah, I felt like the goats were being used, their goat consciousness were being put into the chips, and that was the innies, like was goat conscious. I was thinking that, but like now I'm cool with them just being like these sacrificial animals because that totally goes along with Lumen and
It dives way more into the religion and the cult and the like how far reaching it is, 100%.
yes. We got another super chat from Big Chris. What's going on, Big Chris? My Severance goats. Love y'all. Man, love you back, man. Appreciate that. Thank you for your generosity. You are definitely one of the goats. You came through for this season. We came through for this season. This was my first season covering it. Like I wanted to do Severance videos before, but I had like I didn't do them. And before the season came out, I said I'm gonna drop a video, and I did Severance
Nice.
Decoded. Yeah. So
Hell
this
yeah.
this season did good for you, huh?
Oh yeah, this like really I met so many cool people, not only creators but watchers. Like I'm convinced that the Severance community is the best. Like I know I should enjoy all fandoms equally, but I've been involved like heavily involved in Game of Thrones, other fandoms out there, and I'm like fully convinced that Severance people are the smartest, the nicest, and the funniest. Honestly, not to judge any other fandoms, but that's my take.
Yeah. Like, what are you? All right. So what? You fuck with the Game of Thrones heavy? What was your thoughts about House of the Dragon?
Yeah, I loved season 1. I think season 2 definitely had its ups and downs. I won't say I like hated it or anything, like some people just full stop hated it, but I just love the world and I love that like getting into it. So I thought there were some like stupid writing decisions, but I still really enjoyed it. Like enjoyed watching it. I love the characters.
Season one, they really cooked. Like
It was
they
so good.
really cooked on House of the Dragon season one.
Yeah,
Season
it was
two,
so good.
I thought they were gonna cook when they started right off with the first episode with the blood and cheese situation.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I was like, oh, they're about to get cooking on
Yeah, I'm
this.
like
Like,
this is going to be intense. This is
yeah,
going to be an intense
if
season.
they did this in the first episode, oh, they're about to go crazy, and they
Yeah.
didn't. I was like, damn. But
Yeah, there's
like,
definitely some weird calls and decisions that they made for sure.
yeah, but it was still entertaining. I still liked it, and you know, the finale seemed like an episode before a finale.
Right. Like the setup.
Right. It seemed like the setup for the finale. I think they kind of missed the mark on that. And that's real easy to do, actually.
Yeah.
Severance almost did that. But the one thing that they did good with that season 1 was they showed us the wake up of each
Mm.
one of the outies. You dig what I'm
Mm.
saying? They showed us when the
Yeah.
OTC got cut off.
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't just leave us like, oh, the innies are out there talking to people and then like cut it off. No, they showed us that come to an end. And they showed us that the innies had only control for like a half hour or so or something like that. They
Yeah.
didn't have control long. And so the cliffhanger became, what is the aftermath of that?
Yeah. The
And
consequences. They did great with that.
oh my God. Then the first episode was from straight up any perspective. Second episode from straight up outie perspective. Like, what? I
So
said,
I have a theory that that is how they'll start season 3, that I think we'll get at least like 2 episodes of the innies holding the severed floor, like barricading Mr. Milchick, like maybe they kidnap the CEO who's in his like weird little jerk box
wait a
room.
minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Say this again. Like, all
Okay.
right, break this down again. I got to get real comfortable for this one.
So I think that season 3 will begin with the same thing where we'll have a full episode of just the innies, because I think they're going to hold the floor for a little bit. Like I think there's going to be an innie takeover. They're going to be going through PD's map, exploring Lumen, and I think they might find a way to get James, kidnap him. Like there's the power balance will shift. I'm not saying it will hold, but it will shift for a little bit. So I could really see season 3 starting with like the outside people for a full episode. Like they're catching Gemma up on what the fuck is going on. Irving is giving them a call. They're kind of mobilizing on the outside, and then another full episode or 2 of on the inside. And I would love it if that happens, because I think there's going to be like a barricade for at least an episode or 2 of them exploring PD's map and rallying the other departments.
Okay, so you're saying that for episode 1, they're just going to cut right to like what's next. So Helly and Marker have made it to wherever the hell they're running to. All right, give me where you think they're running to.
I think they're going to rejoin uh
Dylan?
choreography and merriment and Dylan.
Oh,
And then I think they're gonna I hope Mark has PD's map handy. They're gonna bust it out, go get the goat people, get the weapons from O&D. They have at least those departments, and I
that
think we're
Mark
gonna
has
see the
Petey's
rest of the
map.
severed floor. Yeah.
Didn't Helly remake it?
I think, will she at least I don't know. Did she remake the
I
map? I know
think
she
she
kind of
remade
knows
the
where.
map and was like, "You're drawing and shit."
Oh,
Yes, so
yeah.
she did do that. So yeah, you're definitely cooking right now. But let me say this. All right, I love that. Here's why I got comfortable, because I got to tell you, this is what I think they should do.
Okay,
Right?
let's hear it.
I think the first episode they shouldn't go right and tell us right away,
Mm,
because they didn't tell it. All right, so they left us in the cliffhanger with the Audis on the Audi world, right? But then they gave us the episode was with the innies and Mark going back and all of that, new refiners and all that dumb shit,
mhm.
right? Okay, so this episode, the episode 1 of season 3, I think they should get to what's going on with like who Irv was talking to,
Yeah.
or like come with some of the stuff that they didn't resolve for that, and then come with this major episode for like maybe episode 3 or something like that to talk about
Yeah.
what's going down on the severed floor right now.
Well, that would build the tension so well if the first episode is like we see Devin and Cobell grab Gemma and take her home and try to talk to her. We figure out what's going on with Irving, and the whole time we're like, what the fuck is happening inside Lumen? And we just don't
Yeah,
know for an
like
episode.
Gemma's running across the parking lot crying her eyes out, and like Cobell
Freaking out.
and like, yo, Gemma, and she gets in the car with her and she's like, Mark ran off with some woman, and she's like, no, that's his innie. Cause she's like, Mark is severed? Like, yeah, Mark is
Yeah.
severed. Like
Like there's
he's
a
not
lot of
severed.
catching her up.
Yeah, a lot of catching up to do. A lot of that. they get to some of that stuff, and then they go to like, if they don't go to Earth, they at least like have somebody sitting in a room listening to his messages that he left them. And like
Yeah.
then they reveal who that is, or whoever it could be, Ragabi or someone new, even someone that we haven't seen. It's Carol D, Chekhov's
Yeah.
son. Like,
Where is Carol D?
yeah, like
Also, Carol D wasn't in the painting, was she? Mark's
no.
painting.
And Mark should have known her.
Yeah,
So why
she is someone who he worked with before Dylan came in.
right, so why wasn't she there? So everybody in the painting, somebody pointed out last night in the live stream that everybody in the painting is someone that Mark's any met up until this
Yeah.
point, up until a certain point, right?
I
But
think anyone
Carol
he's
D was
ever
missing.
seen. Yeah.
Carol D is missing though. Who
I
else
had
would be
some
missing?
I had someone in my live point out, is Carol D Natalie? Because I don't know if Mark has ever met Natalie before. Has he ever actually met Natalie? Like, did Carol D become Natalie? That was like a crazy theory, but like
That's
Carol D should
crazy.
be in there.
That's crazy. I don't think so. I don't think any of the management employees are severed because it was
Yeah.
so important when Helene got severed.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I
agree.
don't think
I would be surprised if all the management was also severed. I don't think so.
be,
But then, yeah,
be-
why is Natalie in the painting if he never met her? Or did he?
wait, did
I'm
we
gonna have to
see
go
him?
back and check.
No, he didn't meet Natalie. Nope. Nope. And so that's why somebody would say that Natalie is Carol D. That's funny as hell. That's hilarious. That's hilarious, yo. And
Be
you know what?
crazy.
That I don't know. I don't know. She's in there, but we didn't see her meet him
Yeah.
or him meet her. But we know that he met Carol D, talks about her and everything, worked with her in the
Yeah.
whole nine
They
yards.
work
She
together.
Dylan was her replacement.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's crazy. I don't know. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about here?
I would love if, speaking of season 3, I would love it if everyone gets together on the outside and then there's just chaos, right? Like, they don't know who to trust. Like, they don't know if they should trust Cobell. Then Rickon's ass comes in, and then we know Rickon's on Lumen's payroll, and there's like a huge divide. And then Ragabi hates Cobell, and it's almost like they have to figure out a way to band together. Maybe they hook up with Petey's daughter or something, but then there's all like the only thing they have in common is that they hate Lumen, but other than that, they have nothing else in common. And then Rickon might be a
Ooh.
rat. So I would love if the season 3 started right there.
Okay, so Petey's daughter, right?
Yeah,
She's got to come back in season 3.
I hope so.
I I really was disappointed when we didn't get Petey at all this season,
I
except for when
know.
Mark got reintegrated and we heard him asking Mark the questions and stuff like that. I
Yeah,
thought we were gonna get Petey at some
I
point.
know.
However, June, her name is June. That's right, Debbie. June is in a band. Is
Yeah.
that band's name Dieter's brother?
Ooh, whoa. I like that. I like that.
Is June in the band called Dieter's brother? Because
Because I mean,
Milton,
that sign can't be a coincidence. Like that. I mean, yeah, wow.
that
I
would be
love that.
crazy. Here's another one. The therapist with the funny mustache that Devin brings up to Mark, is that Dr. Mauer?
I heard that, and like before Dr. Mauer came in, people were like, "Is that Irving?" I'm like, "No, that's not Irving." But honestly, I could freaking see that, the man with the funny little mustache, and we know that like Mauer already had his eye on Gemma. So is he playing doctor at all these, like the fertility clinic, a psycho, like a therapist's office? It could have been nothing, but if it is something, I think it is Dr. Mauer.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I really do. I think and we'll find that out, right? Because all right, so did Mark and Gemma essentially switch places? Is Mark going to be held captive now?
I think so. I think he might be a willing captive, but now I feel like it's Gemma's turn to get him out in a way, because I think she'll be a major character in season 3.
So what is Mark gonna do? Like start sleeping on the goat hills out there, and like him and Helly just gonna be like dipping around. Okay, so here's what I think. You said you think they're going to meet back up with Dylan and C&M. I think they're
Mhm.
headed to the goat room.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
think they
think
might
they'll
be
go to the
headed to the
goat
goat room.
room. Goat room. Well, they'll get the goat people. I think we know O&D has 3D printed weapons. I think they'll arm themselves.
Ah,
And then I
yeah.
don't know, maybe Milchick will flip. I don't know. What do you think is going to happen with Milchick? Do you think he'll come around to their side or go in the opposite direction?
I don't know. I don't know. I think Milchick might catch a bad one. He might get his ass whipped. This is round
Dylan's
2
going to
with
bite him
Dylan.
again.
Or he might whoop Dylan's ass or some shit this time.
Yeah. Yeah, takedown.
Yeah. And he might kick him and be like, yeah, there's a reason why Gretchen calls me Seth. Sit your ass down somewhere. Y'all ain't gonna do shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Milchick might come off like that. Like, yeah, y'all's innies. I'll beat every last one of y'all ass. You know what I'm saying? He jumped up
I
there
mean, he
like,
looks unhinged, yeah, when he jumps up on the vending
yeah, he
machine.
jumped up there like Jack Nicholson from the movie Wolf. Like there's no doubt in my mind that that's where they got that from. Hold on. I think I
Yeah, that's
clipped
so
that.
funny.
Hold on. I actually clipped that. Let me find it. I did do a clip with the Jack Nicholson Wolf. Where are you at? Here it is. We need to play Wolf for you to see what I'm saying. Hold on. Where are you at? You are. Oh, you can see it.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Don't want to see that. Oh, but we missed the part. Milchick totally did that right there. Right up on top. Like yo, and they slow-moed it and everything. Like
There
I
was,
don't
yeah,
know.
that right there.
Yeah, they slow-moed the whole shot. Like, I don't know if y'all caught that. Am I bugging or what? Like, I totally felt like that's what they were getting at. You know what I mean?
I think
Let me
so.
do I have the I did I did clip that, but I couldn't get it up here in time. Yeah, I couldn't render it in time. But I definitely, yeah, that was a definitely food pyramid. It was if I could find the clip of Milchick jumping on there like that. Yo, hold on, just let me pull it. Let me see. It's identical, y'all. It's
I love
identical. It's
it.
an identical clip of him jumping up there on top of that vending machine. I said I had a joke in there. I said Dylan changed his relationship with vending machines. That's all facts.
So true. The
That's
Christmas
all
mints
facts.
were a nice symbolic touch.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. A minute ago it was we've been rocking for 2 hours, 22 minutes, 22 seconds, and it was 222 people in here,
Wow, look at
all
that.
crews across the side. Yeah. I was you were talking though, I was like, man, I was gonna say something. Yeah, but
That's
yeah, yes,
awesome.
yes indeed. So, okay, what what are your thoughts about the uh are you familiar with my theory about the pineal gland
Yes, yeah,
and the
definitely.
pineapple?
I wonder if that's kind of related to that collective consciousness idea, because I do think it's again, there's so much symbolism there. It can't be a coincidence. It is like where they put the severance chip. So I love that.
Yes. Okay. All right. So now that this part of this video popped up, what are your thoughts on this, man? What is going on with this room, yo? This is insane to me.
It's like, how many times has he been in there? Yeah, it's a jerk box. It's his
Like,
little.
For real.
Weird. Yeah.
Like, what is this? What is going on with this room? Is this where he picks his candidates for siring? Like,
Honestly, honestly, we know that like a severed employee got impregnated at some point. So I mean, I think he's just creepy McCreep dog creeping around.
she called it the jerk box. Oh my God. The jerk cave.
Yeah.
He's got a jerk
His own
cave.
little it's his own the own floor for his jerk cave. Like they built a whole floor for that. Yeah, I don't want to shine a black light in there. I don't know what's going on in
Yo,
there.
Mickey B says it smells like breath in there.
Oh,
Yo,
oh man.
I'm for sure it's probably smell like sour sausage farts in that motherfucker.
Oh,
Like
gross.
James Egan does not look like you want to stand next to him when he's, you know what I'm saying? Like he is definitely one of those guys that is like a creepy farter. He farts a lot. You know what I'm saying? And you know, he, the flatulence, not
Yeah.
feculence, but flatulence. That's what he's on. That's why they use
Yeah.
these kind of words. Like this guy is eating beans and canned
Raw eggs.
tin candies and shit. Like
Raw
raw
eggs, yeah.
eggs. You know what I'm
He's
saying?
he's definitely, like, crop dusting everyone and making noise and moaning while he does it.
Yeah. When he moaned when she was eating,
Oh,
I just wanted to toss something at the TV. Like
I wanted
I
to throw a tin of candies. That pissed me
right.
off. Yeah.
I wanted to throw a tin of candies at this dude. Yo, this dude is but the tin of candies reference to the Tin Man in the Willy Wonka. What you thought about that?
I honestly I would have never thought about that on my own, but when you said that, my mind was blown. I love that. I love
I
that in your
love those
video.
kind of references too. Even though they mean entirely nothing to the show, they have this like esoteric ring to them, and I'm gonna make them. I'm gonna make those
It's
kind of connections.
cool, so cool that you can connect all those pieces and draw that circle, like, through all of that and what it means and bringing up the Wizard of Oz and everything.
Oh, they've referenced the Wizard of Oz several times. They've referenced the Hangman several times.
Yeah.
Like even the hanging there, even Helly hanging herself on an elevator is Odin hanging himself on Yggdrasil, which was a
Ooh.
tree that could take you to different places. And that was a total Odin reference right there. And it was like kind of like a gender swap reference as well. I thought that that was fire. There's so many
Ooh.
references that these shows make. There's no way that they're well, there is a way, right? When you're cooking like they're cooking, you're gonna stumble onto some things. Just
Yeah.
in even basic architecture, there are gonna be things that can be looked at. You know what I'm saying?
And we know they pull inspiration and stuff from all kinds of shows and things and culture and everything. So I think they're definitely making at least some of these connections as well. Like some of them are it's so cool to like tie the pieces together. We probably see things that they don't see, but they probably are seeing things that, are there for us to connect.
Yo, I mean, the I wonder what did they put in there on purpose that we haven't seen? What was
Yeah.
something that when you noticed it, it blew your mind and Severance?
For me, um one thing I don't know if this was a mistake, but it was when like the Helly's number was on the Cold Harbor file or something crazy like that. Which I don't know if it was a mistake or what, or like Mark's watch showing that like a whole day went by before when he's in and out. Cause I definitely think there's something up with time. So that blew my mind a lot. And yeah, though I think some of those things where I'm like, whoa, there's definitely something here that we're not really paying attention to.
The paperclip joint blew my mind. I was like, "Oh
Mm,
my god, they threw the paper clips in there." And then I started talking about the Germans and all of this and all of that. And then the very next episode, there was nothing but German stuff in there with Dr. Marr, even the references to the world wars. World War One and World War Two were
Yeah.
in there.
Like all the
You
Russian stuff too.
Yeah, all the Russian stuff was in there as well. They rounded back to that because they threw a little bit of that in the Ortbo simply by how they were dressed like Russians with the hats on
Yeah.
and whatnot. And I think um, the biggest reveal was in season one, and it was Helena being an Egan. That I
Yeah.
totally did not see that coming.
I didn't at all. I know some people like had called it or there are certain shots, but that blew my mind
Yeah, I did
100%.
not see that coming at all. That was like amazing. I wish we would have got something like that for this season, like
Yeah. Yeah,
a
'cause even like
reveal like that.
the Gemma, Miss Casey being Gemma, I also didn't see that coming. That was from season 1 as well. I think like the closest thing we got to that was that Harmony Cobell invented Severance, but I didn't necessarily see the payoff from that yet in a way because I know she's working with them and blah blah blah, but she could have still be working with them and hate Lumen even if she hadn't invented Severance.
I knew there was something up with her, and I
Yeah.
was like, what I was thinking was like Cobell was trying to get them to get together, and I was like, it's
Mm.
something up with her. Cobell wants them to link up. Like,
Yeah.
why is she watching them like this? You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Um, did you notice that Miss Casey is connected to Irv and Bert like multiple times throughout the show?
Miss Casey was connected to Bert?
Yes. Okay. So when Irv first meets Bert, he's going to a wellness session, and
Right, right,
Bert coming
right.
out of the wellness session. So there's a connection to Miss Casey. Boom. Then
Mm.
um when Irv when Bert goes to that conference room to try to meet
Yeah.
Irv, Miss Casey walks by and sees him and then runs over to Irv and is like, yo, Bert is in that conference room over there. She just randomly told him that,
Oh.
right?
That's so true.
Like, why the fuck did she tell him that? Like, what was that even about? And it seemed like she like turned into someone else when she did it, before she left that hallway. If you go back and watch that scene,
Interesting.
she like stops and thinks or something. I don't know what she was doing, but then
Ooh,
she goes and tells him. Then
that's so
the
fascinating.
right. So she's also connected to them because she was in the husbandry tanks giving sessions to the mammalians, and the
Yeah,
mammalians are the are another people who we heard tell the story about the pouches and the belly buttons and all of that. And we know that
right.
story came directly from Bert. Right. And if Bert has
100%.
been working there for so long, then he had to be there when that story originated.
Yeah,
He might even be the person who created that in order to keep the departments separate.
right, right, 100%.
You see?
Hmm.
And
Yeah, because I always
also,
thought him hanging out in the conference room was super weird, like, super sketchy, like, "Why are you in a conference room right now?" And then he's like, "Oh, I was coming to see you," and I smell bullshit on that.
here was another Wizard of Oz reference when he said Oswald will be glad that you got the card back. When Milchick went and got the card back, he brought it to
Mm.
Bert, and Bert was like, Oswald will be glad. I think that's Dr. Peabody.
Ooh.
Now that's a Wizard of Oz reference, Oswald. And also, um, in the Penguin, his name was Oswald. They called him Oz, right? And
Mm.
also they referenced the hangman in there as well. And where Sophia Falcone was the hangman, but it was really
Mm.
her father, Carmine Falcone. And get this, guess who played Carmine Falcone in the Batman movie? John Turturro.
Ooh.
So it's like all connected, like Oswald, Wizard
Wow.
of Oz, the Wizard of Oz symbolism, all of that shit is like rounding off and connecting. all of these different little dots. Now we've been rocking for
Yeah.
over 2.5 hours. We're gonna get out of here soon. But before we do that, I want to do something that I think is kind of dope and fun. Oh, we got a super chat right here from Sean. Thank you, Sean, for your generosity, fam. And Sean says that Cobell episode this season was unnecessary. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I loved it when at the time I loved getting out of the world and going to Salt's Neck, and I think we needed that for Cobell, but I agree, I'm still waiting for it to pay off. Like I'm totally fine with Cobell inventing Severance. I can rock with that. But I like the whole time in the finale, I'm like, she still could have just been this crazy follower who got spurned, or like she got burned by the company. She's really high up. She knows about Demona. So I'm still kind of waiting for the why, I guess. What do you think about that?
I love that episode. I love the Salt's Neck episode. It seemed like most people had a gripe with it because it was too short. And it
Uh-huh.
seemed like it was uneventful, but we got something out of that episode that turned the entire series on its head. Not
Yeah.
only did we get that in episode 7 with learning that they're trying to create multiple innies and shit, but then in episode 8 they turn around and give us and show us this vulnerable Cobell crying on her mother's bed, and then nearing the end of the episode they reveal that she's actually the architect of the Severance technology. And she, like, that
Yeah.
episode, you can't
That blew my
now
mind.
one thing I can say is they could have added that episode to the end of episode 7 or the beginning of episode 9 and just gave us 9 episodes, just like they gave us 9 episodes in the first season. And
Mhm.
that would have kept in line with the 9 core principles. It would have been kind of cool if they would have kind of did that, right? But
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world. I think it's a 10 out of 10. I at first I
Yeah.
did have some problems with it being short, but the esoteric symbolism alone in it won me over.
Yeah, and I loved, like, I think Hampton will still be important. We still haven't seen her car in the water. I think it was super important to learn about what Lumen does to a town and the ether background and everything. So I definitely loved the episode. I thought the episode was beautiful, super well done. I'm happy that we got that and that we got that extra. I could see how they could have sandwiched it in. But I think I'm just like, I'm so intrigued to know what the final payoff will be of Cobell actually being the creator of Severance.
Yes, I thought that was a big payoff right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Episode 9 didn't like the going of Bert and Irv and all of that. I didn't like that about it. And the fact that they didn't revisit it in episode 10, I thought it was like, damn, y'all kind of leaving us hanging like crazy with that. Like, yeah, I
Yeah.
get it and everything, but this is kind of crazy. But still, I think I think they did a great job, and I think the job that they did was so great that I allot them some things that they missed. That's fine with me.
Mhm.
Now, let's
Mhm.
get to this thing that I want to do that I think this is dope. I did this one time before with a couple guys that were up here on a panel, but I want to get your take on this, and I want to start with Mark. Okay. Each one of these actors or each one of these characters that I name, I want you to give me another actor that could have played the part too, who you
Ooh.
thought would have been like an interesting actor to play this part. I'll start off with Mark.
Oh. Whew. So interesting. Okay. It's so hard for me to think about that because I feel like the actors, they do such a great job. Let me think. If you have one, feel free to say it as
This
well.
might be a funny one, but what's the Wilson brother that played in Idiocracy?
Owen Wilson? The one
Oh,
who
is
kinda
that
looks like
Owen?
Matthew
I don't think
McConaughey?
that's Owen. I is that
Ian.
Owen? I think
Ian
Owen.
Wilson.
Okay,
Is it
yeah, the
Ian?
one that played in Idiocracy. He would have killed
Oh,
it
okay.
as Mark.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Some people out there
I
say
feel like
Luke,
I
Luke
need
Wilson.
Luke Wilson. It was Luke
Okay,
Wilson.
yeah, that was his name. Yeah. Yeah, he would have killed this, y'all. What? And it would have been a little bit funnier. I'm not shitting on Adam Scott at all. I love Adam Scott.
Yeah.
Adam Scott nailed this, but this is a fun game, like trying to figure out who would have played who. Like,
Yeah. I feel like as soon as I'm trying to think about it, it's like my mind draws a blank. Like I feel like I need to make a chart. Because it's like, I mean, I can see kind of just some like generic dude playing him. It's like what he kind of brings into the performance, or it's like the circumstances that shape him.
Christian said, "Welcome to Costco. I love you."
Someone said
Idiocracy.
Will Smith could be Mark.
Will Smith could be Mark. I don't know. I don't. Will Smith has range. Like this dude played the one guy in Pursuit of Happiness, and then he played Ali. Like he
Yeah.
definitely has some range. Like I don't know if he could have nailed Mark though. And it wouldn't. I don't know. It wouldn't have been as cool as it is with Adam Scott. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Adam Scott's better than Will Smith in this. I would think. The first
I
time
feel
I
like Will
saw
Smith
Adam
has too
Scott was
much
in The Good Place.
style. Yeah.
Oh, Marshawn Ali from Milchick. That's a good one. He's got range
I
too.
could see it. Yeah, I could see it.
Marshawn Ali, yeah, he definitely would. That's a good one.
For some
He's
reason,
hard.
I could see that dude from this is a weird one. I don't know. You guys might roast me for this, but this is the first thing that came to mind. Like the guy who plays the guy from You, or yeah, Dan Humphrey from Gossip Girl playing Mark S. What's his name?
That would be good. That would be
I
good.
don't know why that just popped into my head. Penn
Raspberry
Badgley. Like I
Logic.
could kind of see it.
Raspberry Logic says a young Ben Stiller could be Mark. So true. So true. And it would have been a little bit funnier. But Mark is funny though. Mark Mark is definitely funny when he snaps out on people. That shit is hilarious. When he snapped on
Yeah.
Milchick as an innie, and when he snapped on Cobell as an outie, on when they were standing out
His
there.
sarcasm and sass is great.
Yes, yes, and he's on point. Who
Yeah.
is? Let's say who else? Who else? I couldn't even think of anybody. Who you think could play Dylan? I think the dude that played Elvin from the Cosby Show could play Dylan.
Okay. I
I
feel
don't know if you
like
know who I'm talking
someone
about. He's been in a couple
I
things
don't.
late.
I'll have to look him up. What's his name?
He played Elvin in the Cosby Show. He was Sandra's husband.
Okay.
Yeah, he was like the daughter, the oldest daughter's husband.
Okay. Yeah.
Who
I
could
feel like
play
I could see
Natalie?
ooh, I mean Natalie's just so perfect and robotic. Um I feel like Jack Black could play Dylan like from School of Rock, like a younger
Yeah,
Jack Black.
I think Jack Black would be a better Rickon.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
Jack Black would body Rickon. Pause.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah, he would play an excellent Rickon. Have you ever seen that one where he killed that old lady and like put her in a freezer, and he had like this old church lady in the freezer. I
Jack
forget what
Black?
I know somebody. Yeah, it was a Jack Black movie,
I
but it
don't
was it's a
know.
true story too. It's a true story. He played this. Somebody knows it, but Jack Black for Rickon would be fire though. That would be definitely
Okay.
fire. Somebody knows that one. Let's see. Cobell is too hard to even like. Who would be able to play a Cobell?
I just can't see anyone other than Patricia Arquette playing
Yeah,
Cobell.
that's she nails it. It's too hard to
Yeah.
even see someone like she created that. Like you could tell she
Yeah.
created that character. Like
That is her. Yeah, I can't see anyone else playing her.
I could see what's the one girl that played in the one transform Bernie. Yes, the movie Bernie. Coriano got it
Bernie's the
right.
movie.
The movie with
I'm
Jack
gonna have to
Black
look that
is
up.
called Bernie. You gotta see that movie. And after you
Okay.
see that, like you'll be able to see, yeah, this guy could play
That's
Rickon.
him as Rickon. Yeah, I'm looking at pictures right now. I could see it.
You know what I'm saying? He could totally kill
Yeah.
that. Um, who was I? What's the girl from Two Broke Girls?
I've
She
never
can
seen
play
that.
Devin.
Okay.
She would kill Devin. She would kill it as Devin. What's her name? Y'all out here tripping.
Bruce
I'm not
Jenner
even
as
gonna
Cobell.
yeah, I'm not I wasn't even gonna highlight that one. Ooh. Oh man. Uh yo, you know what would be hilarious? Um like someone like Dave Chappelle or somebody like that is Milchick.
Just
Cat
a
Williams.
wild card. Yeah.
Cat,
Cat Williams or
Cat
Eric
Williams.
Andre or something.
Imagine Cat Williams coming down there on the 7th. Now look here, y'all. I mean, I'm not playing right now. Y'all better get over there and refine them goddamn numbers.
That would be so fun. I would love to just see a spin-off, like an alternate take with this whole cast.
Yeah, like yo, Dave Chappelle using his white voice would be hilarious as Milchick. Yo, I'm telling you, I'd be crying. Cat Williams and Severance would be golden. Like, make that happen. You know what I'm saying? Somebody
That's
said
so funny.
somebody said Terry Crews. That's hilarious. Oh
Oh,
man. Irvin Burt, I
you
don't
guys
think
are
we can
better.
find him.
Yeah, you guys are better at this than me, but Irvin Burt, I don't think anyone else could have
No,
played them. Like,
nobody could nobody. Irv Burt, Cobell, yeah, you can't get anybody else. Funny enough, the little guy that played Mark W, he was great. Like,
oh yeah. That he was funny.
yo, he was hilarious. And then like the fuck you Lumen part, I so wish they would have showed his face. Like, why weren't they showing him during that scene? Like they didn't show him. Like that would
Yeah.
have been so dope. Like he was so good. Yeah, nobody else could play him. Uh Nobody else could play Lauren. Like forget about it.
No. Yeah, it's got to be Gwendolyn Christie. She's like made for that role.
Who could play James Egan? This should be funny. The chat is gonna like keep your eye on the chat, yo.
I feel like the chat is funnier than me with
Yeah,
these roles.
they're gonna say something real funny for this one. Who could play James Egan, y'all? Like, and you could pick somebody that's dead or alive. I don't care. Like,
I feel like an actual dead person should play James Egan, like an actual reanimated corpse.
yo, I know they gonna go crazy with the James Egan one. James Egan, I'm thinking,
Biden.
yo,
Oh my god.
Joe Biden. I wasn't gonna say nothing. Somebody said Joe Biden from the second debate. I said that shit last night on the live stream. Yo, somebody said Trump. Jim Carrey. Bill Chill knocks it out with the Jim Carrey. Oh my
Oh my
God, that would
god.
have been a great. James Egan would have been Jim Carrey. That would have been great.
That would
Yo,
be so funny. I can't
the
get over
Austin
Biden. Oh my
Clint
god. You
Eastwood.
guys are going to hell. Oh,
Yo,
Willem Dafoe could be a good one for sure.
yeah, yeah,
Like
I see
especially
that.
him in that one movie in Blue Velvet or that old Lynch movie where he like has or no, what movie is he in or is it there's a movie where he plays some weird bad guy with like no teeth and it's so creepy. I could see it.
What? Yo, Defoe
Yeah.
would be great. Defoe would be definite. That like Defoe would kill it. It's for me. It's out of Jim Carrey and Defoe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody said Leslie Nielsen. Oh my God. Or are we talking airplane that Leslie Nielsen like age? Like that would be hilarious, yo. Oh my God, that would be hilarious. Somebody said Samuel L. Jackson. No, he's too he's too lit. You know what I'm saying? To play
Yeah,
somebody
yeah.
like this guy. But the Biden is the funniest one.
That made my stomach like actually my ribs hurt. That's so funny.
Yo,
Biden
Biden
have
definitely wins, and Jim Carrey and William Dafoe come in for a strong second and third. Word up. Biden wins that. Because he sound like Biden when he said, that was a funny trick you played.
Yeah, like
I was cross with you at first. It reminded me when he said, Trump's got the morals of an alley cat.
yeah, like definitely kind of that like old-timey speak.
Yeah. He said
That's
he
so
had the
funny.
morals of an alley cat, yo. Like that That had me crying, yo. That had me in tears. That was the funniest. What there's a senator that said some funny shit. I think his name is Kennedy, Senator Kennedy. He said, if you
Okay.
want to defund the police, next time you find yourself in trouble, call a crackhead.
That's so funny.
Yo,
I
that
love
shit.
it.
He said, uh, he said Biden's polling right up there with viral infections. Yo, this dude was
Oh, that's
funny,
so
yo.
funny.
Yeah. I laugh at the politics. I don't pay attention to things that I can't control.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I
So,
mean, you gotta laugh at all of it at some
yeah,
point.
I laugh at him. Yeah. Oh, somebody says Senator Kenny is the Foghorn Leghorn reborn. Yes, that guy is funny as hell. I look at all of them as a TV show. I think
Yeah,
we're bearing
it is.
witness to a reality show called The POTUS.
I think so. All across the board.
Yo,
Someone
and,
think
and,
Danny DeVito playing Miss Wong.
yo,
Oh my god, you guys are so funny.
yo.
Jeez.
Yo, I'm over here crying. Y'all are yo,
With like a wig
yo,
on.
Danny DeVito wins, y'all. Word up. He wins. Danny DeVito won this whole shit. Yo, I
That's
got
so funny.
who could play Gemma? Gemma, she's putting up a good fight in this goddamn acting thing.
Yeah. I mean,
Show.
because the actress has such an interesting, like, unique and beautiful look, and I feel like it really embodies the mystery of Gemma. I I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's also hard for me to think of someone other than the woman who plays her.
What's the guy from Better Call Saul?
That actor, right? What's his name? I don't
Um,
know.
what's the guy, y'all, from Better Call Saul? I know y'all know who I'm talking about. I can't remember Bull's name. Oh man. What's his name, guys? Okay. Y'all
Um,
talking about Uma Thurman as Helly. That's crazy. We gotta go. We talking Kill Bill, Uma Thurman? Bob Odenkirk, yes.
Bob Odenkirk, yeah.
Bob Odenkirk as Petey. Oh my God.
Ooh,
Bob Odenkirk as Petey would have been fired. That's definitely a fire one.
ooh.
These are funny and fun. Why do you
Yeah,
think
this is fun.
what do you think about them making Mark look like Tom Cruise in this painting and in that with the C&M holding those cards up?
Yeah, I don't know, it's like they're trying to make him look good.
Like, why did it make him look like Tom Cruise?
Why are his eyes closed? I don't know, I have a lot of questions.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I think that he's maybe in like some sort of prayer.
Oh, yeah, like some
I,
exalted
I
state.
think that he's the one that's important and not Gemma.
Yeah, I could see that.
But the only thing that kind of fights that is the fact that Evil Hodor was about to just straight up kill him.
Yeah.
Was he
I
just
mean, maybe
important?
his purpose has been
Is
extinguished as soon
fulfilled?
as that.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh man, he's in fucking trouble then, sis. I mean, he's in trouble. He's killed Big Hodor, who might be like an Egan. Big Hodor
Yeah.
was that. Yo, how does Milchick feel about this in season 3?
What if Milchick's, like, happy? He's like, "Alright, dog, I guess the enemy of my
Yeah, I'm
enemy is
fucking
my
with y'all. Y'all
friend."
killed the guy that I
Yeah.
don't like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What? How does he feel about this? How does he look at Mark? How do they look at Mark's any? Mark's any wasn't aware of that whole shit either.
Yeah.
He just all he
Yeah,
knows
does
is that he took him down.
Mark's any doesn't even know he killed Drummond. Probably.
Right.
He's probably like, where did Drummond go? I was holding a gun at some point. Now I'm covered in blood. Like, what the hell
But now he
happened?
realizes that he realizes that he had to move his legs out the doorway, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's so much that is like, okay, what are you guys gonna do in season 3? We got to know. Like,
I
what
know.
are you,
I hope, like you said, there's like a teaser or they release another like Lexington letter type of thing, like something.
did we get anything other than Rickon's book this season?
No, no, we didn't.
I can't wait till the whole book comes out.
I know. I'll be reading it. I want to reread it.
They did not do him justice in season 1 when they were
Yeah.
like playing like little clips of him reading the book and stuff like that. They were cool, they were funny, but it made him seem like a nitwit. But then when you
Yeah.
actually listen to the book, it's really good. It's actually good. Even the false facts and all of that, it's pretty good. Like, I can't wait for the entire book to come out.
Yeah. Drop the
Yep.
book.
But I know it's getting late over your way. It's 9 over here. It's probably 6 over here. We done rocked out for 3 hours. I want to
I
thank
know.
everybody
Wow.
coming through. This was dope all the way through. This is a non-skipper right here. Like, this is a straight up ill one. Next, if y'all want to check this out again, a rewatch crew, you know what I'm saying? This is a good one for the fam. We're gonna end this one. I can't wait to come on your channel. Just let me know when is a good time, when you're going live, when you want to do a special thing, and we can do it. We can make it happen for sure.
Yeah, we
This
need
was
another
amazing.
wellness session for sure. This was so fun. You guys kept me laughing. I feel like we got some good we cooked up some good theories in here.
Yes, yes indeed. Yes indeed.
Yeah.
Yo, somebody Big Heck, please drop her link in the chat. Everybody, do me a favor and go over there and follow her. If you're not already following, go get tapped into her videos. If you're already tapped into mine, go tap into hers and be looking for that live stream with her and I on her channel. And
Hell
yeah, I
yeah.
appreciate all of you. And to you,
Yeah.
I appreciate you so much for reaching out, because I wanted to check your stuff out and get you on here as well, because you be really over there cooking. You bring something really dope to this community, and I appreciate you for coming here and that.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. It's truly an honor. Your channel is like the best for Severance out there. So it was so amazing to be on
Wow.
here, and you guys are so awesome. I'm gonna go watch White Lotus. If you guys are into White Lotus, I make videos on White Lotus too. I don't know if you're into that reel, but White Lotus just dropped just now, just this moment.
Like, really? Like, just
Yeah.
now?
Yeah, like
Like,
episode
how many
7.
seasons is White Lotus in?
We're on season 3, towards the end of season 3. It's definitely like there's not as much, like it's not as heavy as Severance. It's a bit lighter, but it's well done. We like it.
Okay. I might check it out.
Yeah.
Definitely. And
All right.
if you ever have a White Lotus stream and I am abreast of the show, have me on.
For sure. I'm definitely having you on for Severance, though. We'll make that happen really soon once we've dived back into season 1, talk about all that. And yeah, if you catch up to White Lotus, would love your take, because I feel like there's probably so much for you to dig into there.
Okay. So I'm gonna leave the crew with a music dance experience.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? Thank you everybody for stopping by. It's been real. I loved it. You know what I'm saying? This was a great collabo. We had a great discussion, and the chat kept us going. We definitely made it what it was. You know what I'm saying? Just a little something to think about while we wait on the next episode. That's all for the live wellness session. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Thank you.
Yo, fuck your designer shirt, my mind is squirt, some rhyme worked out.
that'll make your sinus hurt. Buckle your seat while the pilot work. My spacecraft got enough gas that'll take you out of this earth. I'm magic with the pen and paper like a warlock. The window pane's wide open, but the door's locked. So you looking through the window for it in your window, but do they really have the skill to analyze the symbol? Crescendo, the ashes blow when the wind blow. The rain put out the fire while the children build a temple. Just like the pyramids, walls and scribble, a projection in the sky of the messiahs on your mental. Monumental and extraterrestrial, turning these niggas into mental vegetables. It's kinda crazy how I ride on instrumentals as I slice like a Ginsu with the vibe I put in. You listen. This is not a double life. It's just a new beginning. The magic is to focus on our goals till we're winning. I'd rather have a portrait of myself up on the ceiling. I could lay down on the floor, look up and visualize the millions. Imagine that. Do you see the picture clearly? Focusing on working with me. You could get this money with me. We could take over the world and put the trophies in the city, the plaques on the wall, and have a feast of who was with me. Yeah, last week was just the past, right? A new beginning. I've been up for all these past nights, and all these people that I knew just seem to pass by. They stuck on stupid worry about their past lives, and I just ask why. Are they agents? Is the system about to crash? Am I the one like in the Matrix? Is the planets in the heavens? Then the earth is just a spaceship. Our thoughts control reality, and life is what you make it.